gosh, those names sound familiar. Why? Where do I feel like you know what it is? I feel like this looks familiar next to you guys. Returning TI8 champions. Is it the same way that you left it?
Looks the same to me.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a few changes on the back. I hope there better be.
It's missing also a couple of people around it. Last time I saw it, it was like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
What is it like in the days and the months following TI when you've won versus when you've left something there? I mean, everybody we've talked to in this couch talks about that being the one thing they want to do, and the ability to look back and wish they had done things differently. What is it like to not have that?
Life has been very relieving for me ever since. There's been that one thing that was there for a very long time that was no longer there in a way, like an underlying kind of pressure or question whether or not you're competent or you have the ability to do what you set yourself to do.
You dream about it, you wake up, you work towards that, it's like your life is about that. Once you actually do it, it becomes harder to go for it because it's not as obvious. It has to come within yourself. Like you have to kind of craft it. This fire, this motivation, and the people that are gonna go up against you, right? You know how bloodthirsty they are. Like nothing's gonna stop them. Nothing is stopping them. If you're on the way, well, you better get out of the way before it's too late.
What made you decide to handle Anna taking a break and a leave the way that you did, which was to be pretty open about what was going on? And also, you didn't seem that concerned about what that meant for your longevity as a team.
Dota asks for a lot of time. It asks for all your time, more or less. And if somebody doesn't want to spend their time doing something, well, everybody should have the freedom to do what they want. And yeah, we set ourselves this crazy goal of winning the international. So once that's achieved, what do you want to do? And then, well, a lot of us wanted to play right away. And Anna decided that he's not ready to play. Like he, again, wanted to self-reflect, spend some time at home. And that was that.
And how meaningful is it to be able to come and play TI and play in front of a different audience with it being in Shanghai and in China for the first time?
There's so many things about this TI that are different from last year's. It's a new audience. We're a different team, probably. I mean, we grew. We're going to play against 17 different teams that are very good at the game. The Chinese audience I've always admired how the fervor, like they're going to root for the teams that they're going to decide to root for, and it's most likely going to be the Chinese teams. And they're one of the very few audience that also roots against the teams that are trying to defeat their favorites. And it's rough. Sometimes it gets rough. I remember my first tournaments in China. Sometimes it was overwhelming. It was getting to me. I was like, wow, but they're actually chanting against me or they're booing me, or it has happened. Not always, but it happens. It's part of it. It's competition, right? I mean, let's say we had a tournament in France and this would happen. I would be like, yeah, they're cheering me up. TI in France, yeah, that's not going to happen. I need to get over that.
One day, man, one day. We just keep the game alive long enough.
Yeah.
Maybe all the other nations will fall and France will be the last one standing.
Maybe.
And then you'll get your TI.
Boy, that got dark. Doesn't need to be a world war for it to be held in France.
No, but we're just talking about the feasibility of TI happening in France.
We're just going through options, nothing more.
That's about the only option that we have.
Is there anything else that you want to add to fans of OG and fans of Dota? Just in general, just about where we are right now, sitting here getting ready for TI9.
Just remember why you sat down to play for the first time and why you keep sitting down to play. I mean, maybe you forget along the way. I have forgotten along the way, but it's a game that I truly love, and I'm sure that I'm not the only one. There's so many players. Just the good parts again. Focus on the positivity. Enjoy the games. Enjoy your teammates. Don't queue for the next game if you're in a bad mood and you know it's going to be a bad game. Queue if you're looking for the fun, if you're looking for something good, if you're looking for that nice game or nice experience. And that doesn't mean winning. Some of the best games are still spent losing. And yeah, some people get caught up in that as well. Play for fun. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
Well, you hear OG talking about the tournament potentially being in France, but we're definitely not in France, lads, and this is not the Paris that I think they were talking about there. They're going to be completely surrounded by fans cheering for their competition right now, and I think the effects are pretty palpable.
Yeah, definitely. OG, they were pretty much cheered for in the grand finals for most of it last year, and this year people will cheer for him, but it's going to be all LGD, and I don't blame him. It's the home team. You want to cheer for him. I would. If we're in America, EG's in the finals, I'm cheering for him. That's just how it is.
This is the first time we're going to see 6 versus 6 Dota.
Yeah.
Crowd on one side of LGD, and big stack of papers on side of OG.
What about Sashka? Is he on top of the stack of papers at least?
He's holding the paper while No Tail is playing.
Very important role. All right.
We actually saw a little bit earlier those papers not blank. Not blank.
Yeah.
There's some random stuff printed.
Look, there's FY. He's got his papers.
He's got one very strong piece of paper.
That's also intimidating. We don't need notes. We know you guys.
Yeah, when I think about OG, it's crazy to me because it's the fact, like, when you have these teams, it seems like it's okay to make a mistake in OG and nobody gets upset about it. If you look at any other team, if, say, someone dies, like, solo middle, your team's definitely going to feel it, right? But on this team, Anna does a lot of crazy shit. Like, he does.
Yeah.
And he'll make a mistake. But the team doesn't care. Like, they just sit there, they keep focused, and it's crazy to have a team like that and that much trust.
Because they can bounce back so easily with this team. It feels like they're losing the early game. They're 10,000 network behind, and suddenly one mistake, one click, they're just winning the game.
And they identify what they need too, right? Like we've heard some of those players talk about the kill streaks specifically and be like, yeah, man, you got to go for those. I see a streak pop on the left-hand side. It's like, that guy next. That's a big bounty on his head. I want that 400 XP. I want it on my mid. And we're snowballing right from there.
I also think it's pretty clear that is also something that happens outside of the game on a big picture level, which we've already talked about. It's the idea where they can just brush off every game of Dota. They just sit down, they play the game, which is a hard thing to do on a stage like this, at the scale like this, and that's also one of the reasons that we've never had somebody win a TI twice.
I will say, though, on top of that, like, it feels like there's this pressure when you come to TI of just like, okay, we're finally here. And like, some teams we've been like, oh, there's no pressure on these guys because they weren't even expected to go this far, right? You talk about like Infamous or something going those games. You're like, man, that's got to make it free. But I feel like as a TI champion, most of the pressure, to me at least, would be like getting back. Just even getting to TI, staying good form. Once you get here, once you're on the stage, I have to think that they must feel even freer than last year. Don't you think? Like, they just have this like, yeah, whatever happens this game, we won to you.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Peter last night. I was talking to PPD last night, and I was just like, dude, how do you stay hungry after you've already won? And just talking about how those motivations actually do stay there. And he was pretty honest about it. He was like, yeah, there is going to be a period for pretty much every player after they win where they do have that time to reassess. And you heard about that in the interview, right? That reflection and taking that time to actually think about what your future is going to be inside of the game. But now they're up on the main stage again. And like we've already talked about earlier, we have a really strong chance of finally having somebody be a 2-time champ.
Can't happen. Don't let it happen, LGD. Come on, man. I want TI 10 to be the one with the double winner, if any. Not this year. LGD, it's too good. They're in China. They got to win it for the fans. None of them are a repeat winner. It's perfect. Anyone else ruins it.
It's true, man. It's an uphill battle. Do you guys? Who do you say honestly, like, is the favorite going into this? Just straight up. Do you have one, or do you think it's pretty even?
I think OG showed the best performance on next tier 0 Dota, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, some of the teams really don't even come close to what they're doing and their general understanding of the game and what needs to be done at the exact point. And I don't know. I feel like we might see OG taking this one home.
I've got again OG too. Can't help it. I mean, just how they've been looking, right? I think it's only fair to favor them.
Yeah, I agree. I think LGD though, like, this is the thing. I think really that's what you have to do. You get this team fight. You have to outplay them. Don't fall into their trap. Like, doing buybacks and going into fights is good, but they're gonna make you make those mistakes, right? Like, you're gonna have wasted buybacks. They're not kind of things. So if you try to play too much of their style, they're obviously gonna play it better.
I do want to ask as well, one of the big things that I know Nahaz loves to talk about it, a lot of the other analysts have talked about it as well. When you look at OG's run last year, when they were able to win TI8, it was an idea that they figured something out that was really good, but somebody was eventually going to get an answer to it. And it was like, okay, yeah, they won another series. The next one, though, they're going to be able to figure this out. Okay, they won another, and then all of a sudden they won the entire thing. Is there any similarity at all this year to their run last year?
I definitely think there is. I mean, even in the best of 5 grand finals, though, it wasn't too bad. I think they did get found out a little bit afterwards, but We'll have to see.
Well, we talk about history. This is a rematch of what we saw at TI last year. Whoever wins this is going to be going to the grand finals.
PSG.LGD versus OG. Game 1.
Perhaps the most hype rematch in esports history across all games. It was the grand finals last year. It was the winner bracket finals last year. LGD looking for revenge. OG, can they do it again? I've got Gunnar as well as Febby joining me. What do we make of this matchup?
Will there be a repeat of history?
Yeah.
OG again in grand finals. You know, EG can't be third place again. So there's going to be a new third place team for whichever the loser of this to play. But we could see the same result here.
Oh, but the home advantage is so real. Maybe it's because like I'm right next to them, but the cheer is just insane.
They've got the entire crowd behind their back chanting LGD. They are the last remaining Chinese hope, and we're going to get ourselves into our first draft of the day. OG with first pick. I mean, we talk about key heroes to ban. So far, a lot of the key heroes we're going to talk about banning is going to be from the LGD side. They banned Io as well as Enchantress. What are the must-ban heroes against OG? Are these what you would have expected to see banned out with the Magnus?
And the Mag. There's a lot of...
ET's open. OG might pick ET.
A lot of the drafts this patch are kind of centered around these like 1 or 2 core heroes that are just like bonkers.
Yeah.
Like this Wisp, if OG picks it, they're probably going to win every game.
Are we going to see a single carry Io, do you think?
I don't think. I think it's going to get banned probably every game of the tournament from every team. Like Secret showed they can play it. I'm sure LGD and Liquid are high enough caliber that the carry players can also play it with like little to no practice. So I think that hero is probably going to get banned. The Enchantress most likely will get banned by most teams against everyone, even Alchemist, you know, these Ogres, the Shadow Demons, these Lesh. There's so many of these like strong heroes. You have to take a trade where you give them a strong hero on first pick, but you get a second strong hero on second pick.
I think Tiny might get picked here. Tiny has been the hero of the tournament in the past few days. It's the tree volley is just so powerful, coupled with some AoE disablers such as Void. And I'm surprised that OG... I mean, I'm not surprised. It's the second ban phase, but alright, they're going to pick Tide Lion.
They're sticking to their picks, you know. They're saying, yeah, Tiny looks like the meta hero, but this is what's worked for us.
I see No-Tail just laughing. He was so confident with those picks. We saw the other kind of more common opening was the Tiny Void. I think that Seeker was running. And they would first 2 Tiny Void. And then the other opening that most people do on second pick is Tide +1. So they both have kind of similarities. They have this like really tanky initiator in the form of Tiny or Tide. And then they have a little more team fight usually in the form of like this Void. Or I guess Lion, who gives you like follow-up stuns.
Yeah. So Lion, I mean, when you talk about this hero, normally it's all about the disable and the burst damage to some extent.
It's a really great laner too against ET, and I think that's what X-Nova was thinking. It's probably an X-Nova hero.
Yeah, if he's running at you, you can just stun him, walk away.
Yeah. And Hex naturally is really good in these late game scenarios when there's all these BKBs in place. Having an instant disable that can catch people before they get a chance to pop BKB.
Even early game, if he ever gets a blink at any point, he can start the fight on his Tide. If they ever try to jump him, they have a Ravage follow-up. OG's going to take the Void.
Yeah, we talked about Void being one of the big carries to look out for. So no Alchemist in the first stage. That was also something we saw out of the Secret series where you got to game 2 and it's like, actually, let's let Alk through. We've got ways to beat it. And these two teams, OG, a team known for first picking Alk, even in this tournament, are going a different direction. Why do you think that is?
Arc is a really popular hero, but these two teams don't really love Arc. I think it's because they are so comfortable playing against it, like OG, LGD. So I think that's why Arc is kind of getting ignored here.
Yeah.
The hero's been like slightly figured out. Like the Secret Mineski series, you know, Secret gave it away. They thought they could beat it. And obviously they won the game, but it was really close. The Alchemist, if he didn't die, he probably could have thrown, and Secret would have lost the series, 2-0. So this Alchemist here, I think, is really strong. But like Febby said, I think they have a feel how to play around it. You know, OG is one of the classic Alchemist teams. They picked it, you know, at the Boston Major like 3 years ago. Yeah. That's when they started, you know, they would first pick this Alch, Anna would play it, he just go this Radiance, so it's kind of going back to his roots. He's like, they're very confident playing around it, so I wouldn't be surprised if they pick it still.
Yeah. OG is like the best team at bringing the tempo to their side. They're like really good at creating chaos, so the other team plays at their tempo, and I think that's what Alchemist hates the most. And I think LGD, they are traditionally like a Ame carry team, which Ame has a lot of heroes that's good against Alchemist. Spectre, Slark, like those kind of heroes. So
yeah, Does he have a lot of heroes good against the Void? He plays a lot of Void himself, so he should know what works well against it. Naga Siren, one of the best, already banned out. What kind of carry do you think of when you see Faceless Void in the pool?
I was actually going to comment on that because it's uncommon that the Void is picked so early without the Tiny, but I think because of ET, it kind of makes up for the damage. And LGD loves Void. Like they will pick it in the second pick phase, so I think it was a deny pick from OG.
Yep. Well, OG banned the Spectre and the Naga, which were, I think, the best two. They kind of provide a lot of team fight. They're both really tanky. Naga has this root to stop the Void. He also has illusions that can burn his mana. On the other side, Spectre is going to give vision. He's going to kind of make the team fight more chaotic, so these chronos are harder to hit.
Well, Invoker banned as well, so banning some of those heroes that can synergize very well with the Chronosphere, and then they pick a save. So this looks like we're going to see Lion moved over to a 4 position. Yeah. FY has played it before as well, and Oracle gives them some way to keep anyone caught in that Chronosphere alive.
Yeah, a save is a counter to Void from support position, and I think because the SD is not there available for position 4, so I think that's why they transitioned the Lion to position 4 and picked Oracle for the position 5 from LGD side.
So right now, OG is going to kind of have to consider what they're going to pick if they want some chrono damage. I thought the Tiny has been the most common of the tournament, but it's been banned out. The other one was Invoker. You have either, if you go Exhort, you can have Sunstrikes, you can have Cataclysm, Meteor. Even if you go, Wex, you can still have EMPs and Tornadoes and Lacrity or Void.
So some of the Thompson heroes that I can think of is Lina, Monkey King, Pugna, that we haven't seen a lot, but it is a pretty bad Pugna game against all those Disabers and Oracle. But I think the other two are pretty viable.
I think the Monkey is a little scary. Your Jingu can get purged in the early game when you try to run around. There's a lot of stuns, and it's kind of hard to want to play. I think the Lina is like a good choice.
It's scary to pick Monkey when you don't know your matchup as well, I imagine.
I know Thompson doesn't really care that much when he's playing Monkey. Him and Mid One are the two monkeys who, like, their teams have even, like, first phase their Monkey. Yep. They'll just throw it mid, and they'll go, like, 50-50. But another one of Thompson's heroes that he can go 50-50 in a lot of matchups is Pango.
Okay. So expecting the mid Pango, because we don't see Seb play this hero a whole lot. We do see Jarek's play, though. Yeah. And ET is a 5 position typically as well. So.
Yeah, and they need to pick their mid earlier. They're going to, like, get the mid countered anyway, so they're going to pick it, like, probably the next pick from OG.
Yeah. Another mid laner we've seen a lot of, and particularly from LGD's tournament, is Kunkka. Are we surprised not to see Kunkka picked up yet?
Maybe a little. I know in the, EG series yesterday, they picked Kunkka versus Void, and the Kunkka was okay, but the Void would just kind of chrono whoever he didn't get the boat buff on, and then he would just kill them, and then the Kunkka would kind of be alone, and you can't really control Void. So the matchup is a little hard for the Kunkka, but they're just going to take the gyro. That's also versatile, right? It's a carry and a mid, and then they can decide their lanes.
I think they were kind of scared for OG to pick the gyro too for Thompson mid because of the ET. There's not a lot of heroes right now on OG's side that can abuse the ET's magical debuff.
God, you know what I always think of when I see ET and Void, a mid lane? I don't think Thompson plays it. Well, Zeus is one. Tinker as well. How good would Tinker be with the Void? But Zeus actually sounds amazing as well.
Yeah, it's an OG hero,
Oh.
There's a lot. Sky. He's also
Sky
Sky.
Yeah.
Thompson Sky Mage.
This is the things going through LGD's head right now is the crazy thing. There's what is Thompson going to be playing?
Thompson has so many these weird heroes that does a lot of magical damage.
So Nature's Prophet, this is a 5 position, but also a 3. They've played it on Seb earlier in the group stage, so given that they have the Elder Time there, expecting Seb on the Nature's Prophet?
Yeah, most likely going to be a 3 Furion. They can put it with either of the melee supports, if the Pango is a support. And you kind of usually want to match a ranged with a melee if you can, for the Stout Shield and kind of the ranged harass.
Is this lane counter to Gyro? Is that the idea?
Yeah, the Treants can also take Rocket Barrage, so he can't really ever solo you with the Q.
And Gyro has a really low base damage, so Furion's going to deny a lot. And Pango and Furion is one of those classic lane partners, because Pango is such a weak laner, so he needs a strong position 3.
So LGD bans the Dazzle. I don't know if they're scared of a 5 Dazzle, or they're scared of a mid Dazzle. There's nothing really that stands out for this being a really good mid Dazzle game, I think, so I think they're leaning more towards
Zeus.
the Zeus.
There it is. Zeus going to be pumping in that damage. It does give PSG.LGD the 10th pick of the draft to counterpick this theoretically, or they may just be happy with the gyro mid against it.
It's gonna have a very terrible game, I think.
The Zeus?
Yeah. Like in the early mid, it's gonna suffer so much.
I mean, gyro can run you down and go for kills. There's a lot of other mids you can pick that can bully a Zeus, but it's Thompson. He can come back.
If you think about the kind of classicer lane counters to Zeus, is like TA was one of the best. That hero's been nerfed a lot. I don't think we've seen much play of it this tournament. People pick it here and there, and this is a fairly good TA game.
Yeah, it is.
I could see Kunkka as well.
Yeah, I think it's a TA Kunkka. Oh, it's an Ember.
Hero that can get on top of the Zeus. Do you like this as a lane matchup, Gunner?
Yeah, the lane matchup's okay. It's actually kind of hard. He breaks through your flame guard really quickly. But you have roots that go well against the Void and the Pango. They can't ult, they can't Q away, no mobility.
Well, wow. The LGD chants have begun. It is a rematch of the grand final, and I want to hear one man's thoughts before we hop into the game. It is Nahas.
Not surprisingly, these two teams in the upper bracket final feature the 10 most statistically dominant players in the tournament. As we look at kills per minute here, only 6 players average more than a kill per 5 minutes at TI, and 4 of them are on stage here. Of course, Ana and Thompson in the 1 and 2 positions, not shown. Ame is actually at that number 6 position, so both of the farming cores, and assists per minute here, forcing the tempo. All 5 of the assists per minute leaders in this tournament on stage here in this series, including Chalice, who's on his Tidehunter in this game, 5-0 at TI5. He's looking to continue that trend. He has 72 assists in those 5 wins against Liquid, Mineski, and Virtus Pro. OG, the fastest average match time in the tournament. They will be on the clock in this match as that Elder Titan, 19-6 before the 35-minute mark, only 20 and 22 afterwards. The matchup of the top 2 teams in the tournament for a spot in the grand finals. Bringing you the action here is the original Join Dota bromance, bringing the rain on the main stage at TI. Here are Capital and Blitz.
We were all privileged to witness LGD versus OG last year, not once but twice, both in the upper bracket finals and in the grand finals. Both times LGD fell short, but last time they were on OG's home turf. This time around, LGD, they brought you to Shanghai. They brought you to their home turf, and now OG have to play against the roars of the LGD fans.
Yes, I am so excited for this matchup. As Alan pointed out, the stats all lead us to believe that this will be one aggressive match, and the heroes that they have too. And there's raw aggression on both sides. They want a team fight non-stop. There's always a great 5-man potential. Both teams have good amount of catch.
Oh, Blitz, that assist leader that now Alan brought up, that got me hyped, man. That got me hyped. I was just thinking, these two teams love to be able to fight around each other, and clashing against each other just means we're going to be seeing non-stop action.
So an interesting point that Insania brought up was that OG forces you to play at their tempo. They force you to play a very fast game. They want you to get into these silly situations where you feel like you have to dive, and they feel like they have to dive as a result.
And so do you feel like LGD adjusted their draft to address that? I mean, they've got some pretty fast heroes. The Gyrocopter, one very popular hero of this tournament, has had a lot of success. The Ember Spirit, low cooldown hero as well. The only long cooldown they have is that Tidehunter, which has been a favorite among some of the Chinese teams at this tournament.
Yeah, it's been a favorite of a lot of teams just because Tidehunter, no matter what, will get his Ravage off. But OG have one of the best ways to deal with it in the Anaphasis Void. The Chronosphere, of course, doesn't really care about the Kraken Shell too much.
And they've got some great heroes to follow up on it as well. They've got the Elder Titan with his Earth Splitter and Stomp. They've got Pango even being able to swashbuckle from a distance. And let's not forget about the OG Thompson Zeus, which is going to be in the mid matchup against Maybe's Gyrocopter. And they're going to run a side lane Ember Spirit to dodge that matchup.
I think what PSG.LGD learned from last year is you always have to have the ability to fight OG. OG is one of the best teams at coming back from a poor laning phase. I mean, they have Thompson, who it feels like he almost always gets solo killed at some point in the lane, but it doesn't feel like it really matters because he figures out a way to win.
We're going to have that 4-position Pango for Jerix that's going to be assisting Seb's Furion at the top lane, just trying to harass the Ember Spirit out of lane as much as possible. It is going to be backed by a pretty offensive duo, the Ember Spirits and Oracle. Around level 3, they can do a lot against this. See Ame just trying to get as much CS as he can, trying to deal with the treants and clear them out.
Next time.
Well, bottom lane, Anna with his Faceless Void, babysat by No-Tail's Elder Titan, may not be able to provide the same kind of lane assistance that FY's Lion is going to have. With that range advantage just constantly harassing both Anna and No-Tail. That's why No-Tail's going to come in from behind with all that spirit damage, immediately gets stunned up. Lets Chalice just kind of juke No-Tail out until the damage wears away.
This bottom lane Chalice is getting a little bit low.
No-Tail. He's actually turned on to FY instead. FY forced to use the stun. No bash this time from Anna.
Only level 1 bash. He already procced once. Has to be careful about pushing forward like that, as there is a level of Gush early by Chalice, and the Time Walk level 1 cooldown is so long.
Yeah, he's going to have to be a little bit careful of any harassment that comes this way while that's on cooldown, but that's what No-Tail's here for, and geez, it seems like nobody can fight him. It just keeps on spamming out spirit after spirit. So it looks to me, Blitz, like maybe the side lanes are going to go a little bit better for OG. How's that mid lane matchup supposed to go? Looks like maybe he's taking a huge lead already, 12-3 compared to 7-2 against Tops.
I think this lane goes fine for the Gyrocopter. Like, Zeus typically just sort of trades out farm. That's what this hero does. He's not meant to really win any lanes or get any solo kills, because the point of the hero is that your team fight is so strong that it shouldn't matter at some point. Seb, though, with a hero that we haven't seen a whole lot played in this position too much, Nature's Prophet in the off lane, this hero comes with its own set of problems. I think the reason why they pick it is for that global presence with the Zeus.
First blood, that's going to be FY. The Lion managed to get the kill on No-Tail. This time he just gets a bit too far forward, challenges LGD a bit much in the effort to try and create Anna some space. The chance for LGD have begun. And that's what I thought was the coolest thing, is the Chinese crowd, they have not been any slouches when it comes to cheering for OG. They like OG a lot. But when OG's introduction came out on stage, they were extremely quiet. They wanted OG to know, in this matchup, we're not favoring you at all. We are backing our boys, LGD.
Yeah, no boos, but, you know, they're going to show their hometown team love.
Seth going in for the dive, X-Nova.
And he's surrounded right now.
The Treant is going to reveal him the whole entire way, and Seb's going to try and get in position with the trees. He'll just finish him off with a little Treant, and that's going to be good enough. Meanwhile, Ame actually coming in through the side here, does pick up Jerix, and he's going to try and challenge some of that CS that's floating into the tower. Our mid matchup continues to be rather dominant for Maybe's Gyrocopter. Just keeps on throwing out missile after missile.
And Maybe is a very good one-on-one mid laner. His creep aggro tricks, the way that he almost always times out denies, the fact that he's got 4 denies against the Zeus.
Yeah, it's a little hard to do, especially since with Thompson spamming out lightning bolt after lightning bolt, bringing himself a few mangoes as well. He's trying to keep the Raspid battle going back and forth, not just be entirely run by the missile. Jerix takes a little bit of damage, but he has the range drop now, and that'll make the offensive pressure of this Oracle a lot less viable. So smart little choice by him after he got killed by Ame, traded out. LGD do manage to get the boundary rune at bottom lane. No-Tail get a lot of damage in return though.
But it's currently Seb right now, leading the net worth chart on the side of both teams. Chalice not doing bad for himself either. Yeah. And both offlaners having a good start. I feel like it's very important for Nature's Prophet, especially in this meta, to have a good start. Just because you do have comeback mechanics, but you need to be ahead with this hero to fight, because he doesn't come with any sort of stun. His ulti is pretty good, but unreliable at team fights. So the important part about all of this is being able to be ahead and stay ahead in network.
They're trying to sneak in a kill. They do have that very defensive mid lane ward that spotted out the rotation from FY's Lion. So they know he's somewhere behind Thompson. So Thompson's going to play it really safe, especially whenever the missile is cast on him. one thing that LGD will need to rely upon heavily here is their teamwork and communication, right? Because while there are a lot of downsides to the Furion, the big advantage is this is a core Furion with so much global presence. You can't be overly focusing on your lane and just trading out against that enemy hero. You never know when the Furion's going to show up and change the odds.
And Ame, top lane, is going to start going on Seb. He doesn't have any chains yet. Wanted to see if he could find the angle, so Seb will be just fine. Has 2 different ways to get out of this situation. I think part of the reason why they take the MP2 though is they have an easy way to push out the lanes and start fights.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it just lanes well.
We're certainly seeing that with Ame falling below Ana's Space's Void. Here comes CS mid lane. They're going to drop the bomb. Maybe with the help of FY, will get the kill on mid lane OG tops. They'll find that Observer Ward that spotted out FY earlier, so really good read by him. He understood that his rotations were spotted. Finds a different angle to get it. Jarek's now gone lane. Jarek's going to be gone on his range drop. It's gone, so he's going to be slowly burned down by Ame. Slide of fist to finish him off. And X-Nova, can he stay ahead of the Furion? He will, and now Seb does not have a teleport, so he knows he kind of has to battle Ame back here, but the ultimate comes out. That'll be enough to finish off X-Nova, and the Flame Guard will wear out for Ame as well. So Seb will be fine. Still though, 4-2 to the favor of LGD.
Part of something that we should talk about is the vision game between these two teams. Zeus and Nature's Prophet, of course, makes it so easy to win that vision battle. That's why...
Jeez, Anchor Smasher, no. And as long as he can get those bashes, it's still going to be an incredible amount of damage. Thinking about chasing down Jarek, just places down the rim.
Something we should note too is the presence of the 2 wards that LGD have decided to go for. This is, I think, a direct counter to Thompson and the type of rotations that he wants to make into the enemy jungle. We saw that so often in the series against EG, in fact, when he played the Tiny and he just found the TB over and over again.
Yeah.
This ward vision isn't really meant to protect mid so much as it is meant to protect the jungle and Ame's lane, in fact.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Thompson, more than any other core, invades that jungle area. So they want to make sure that they spot him coming the entire way through.
And I've noticed before, like, Thompson, Zeus, he's very reliant on being able to pick up power runes and bounty runes as well. So those sort of rotations are going to be spotted out by these Observer Wards, at least the top half. And just by process of elimination, X-Nova, he's still blocked in, trying to eat 2 different trees, that's still not good enough. Maybe is here. They're going to try and get the kill onto Jarek, so they trade out X-Nova, run over by the Remnant. With the rotation coming out, OG isn't going to be too sad about it. They trade support for support, and it required maybe to make rotation like that.
Yeah, but maybe he's trying to protect his top lane area. He's focusing on that so much because he doesn't want his jungle to get invaded. Seb gonna get stunned up. Ult immediately, and Seb has to be careful here, but maybe they don't have the damage.
Down here, it's going to be a little hard. The Hex goes out. They're just running out of damage now. If anything, Thompson might be able to get the kill, especially with Jarek. With the long-range flash, but barely getting away with the TP as well. Great read by Thompson.
I would anticipate PSG.LGD to continue to send Gyro up to this top lane, protect this area, don't let this tower fall, especially against the Nature's Prophet. He plays like Beastmaster in the sense. Mid lane, Somnus getting a little bit low, but should be perfectly fine. He's got a lot of support behind him.
The next step is going to be those 10-minute bounty runes. Chalice is already pushed out bottom, and we've got rotations from our supports to secure this lane. If they can get the pick off on the No-Tail, the captain of OG, then they might be able to actually finish off this tier 1 tower. Otherwise, it's going to be a slow push.
X-Nova. They know that
Thompson
is here. They know they smoke. They've got to get out of here.
Oh, he actually used the magic meter on himself, but there goes FY. X-Nova thought he was going to be the target. Now Jarex looks to be able to pick up the bounty rune in front of him and body block X-Nova as well. With the Orb of Venom, makes it very easy for Thompson to help get that kill. And now OG taking the kill score lead.
Very surprised that they decided to make that play. He didn't see Thompson until the smoke broke, so that should have alerted him to the fact that there were more than one hero here. At least he should know that one support is behind him, but they still decided to take the fight. Maybe they thought with the addition of Ravage it would be enough. Chalice was in no position to back them up.
It looks like we're going to see a continuation of Thompson's earlier build, which is just running for the really fast boots of travel with the Furion. They're going to try and abuse LGD and especially the slower pace of the title, right?
Yeah, I will say though, OG, there are ways to start and end with Chronosphere for the most part. Maybe Jerax can get some stuff done too, but a lot is on Ana in this game. Chronosphere, of course, so good at taking every single fight. Void, I feel like, has been one of the heroes of the tournament, especially coming from a position where he was so weak, and nowadays everyone seems to love him. I think he just works so well as a counter core. Every single core in the game feels so bad about playing against him. And look at this. This is the ward that I was talking about that you were trying to protect. Protect the jungle against OG. Don't let them get in here for free.
That's why Xnova is kind of positioned to be able to break smoke.
Oh, he was there to break the smoke, and
now
he still get cut out.
Anymore, and now Jerax is going to try and take some of this CS. They're going to turn and try and kill Jerax, but there goes the Chronosphere. Oh, perfectly timed with the air splitter. This is just a beauty of a team fight for OG. And picking this off on Ame as well. Rolling over, nails him and tops the finish him off with lightning as well. OG just perfectly execute that fight, and LGD fall apart.
Oh, the timing of that was so rough for them. Yeah. Xnova was there just to break that smoke. They have 2 wards to protect that area. Doesn't seem to matter as OG read that perfectly.
And that's all set up by Jerax as well, who getting into that position off of Swashbuckle and being able to get that kind of ward down, spotting the stacks.
And this ward right here, they're going to place a similar ward either in this area or this area higher up.
Yeah.
They always want to invade your jungle, and by taking the mid tower and pressuring this top.
Whoa! That lightning bolt just stalled FY long enough for Seb to complete his TP.
Once they lose this top tower, PSG.LGD is going to feel very hemmed in. You see that FY searching for it right now. They know there's vision up here. They eventually find it.
But the damage has already been done. A team wipe like that, or at least close to it, leads into the mid tower being taken, and that just means rotations into your jungle are going to come harder and faster, especially at that safe lane tower. Well, you know it's eventually going to die. You try and protect it, but it's like playing against a centaur.
I think you actually have to protect it in this game.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel good to do, but I think if PSG.LGD lose their safe lane tower too early, they're going to lose so much map control and map pressure in this game that Seb is going to have too good of a game. Which is why I wanted them to protect their jungle, and they were for the most part, but you slip for a second.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you lose control of your jungle, you lose 3 heroes, and you lose your mid tower.
Okay, what about if you're losing your mid tower? What about you try and take the enemy safe lane tower and open up their jungle? Is that going to be equally effective?
I'm okay with that play. It just feels rough because one side has a Tidehunter and one side has the Nature's Prophet. Yeah. If you're going to make this play down towards bottom, I think then you have to go towards mid with your Ravage. That's the only way that you can keep up with the tempo of OG.
Look at Ame, he just can't stop it. The Treants as well as Ana will be able to finish up that safe lane tower. They just couldn't do enough to be able to stall that. So they'll trade out
What did you expect?
Tier 1 towers. As a result, OG holding a 2k gold lead to tops and just doing a little bit of scouting there. I think he was maybe a bit afraid of some sort of smoke rotation or something. But Xnova, he's been spotted here big time. Does manage to at least kill a ward, but he is certainly dead. They'll give that last hit to Seb as well.
There's already an Orchid on Seb, 14 minutes in.
Yeah.
This guy's got an Orchid.
That's pretty insane. I would have expected the old Solar Crest build from him.
I think it's because his lane was going so well.
Yeah.
And he's going to hard counter up the Ember Spirit as a result.
Yeah, Ame is going to be super unhappy with this timing, that's for sure. FY in trouble. Gets hit by the Rolling Thunder. Bounce back by Jerax. Swashbuckle to finish him off. Nice and easy. But at the same time, No Tail's going to be chased down. They are going to be able to get the Orchid out onto the Gyrocopter. Drums goes out. They want to make sure that everyone's safe here. Xnova is always there with the Dispel as well.
And look at that. As soon as Ame sees the Orchid, he immediately pivots to the BKB.
Yeah.
I feel like he needs some sort of DPS item first. Maybe even a Maelstrom into the BKB. I feel like this BKB is a little bit of a bait.
It's so hard too, right? It's like he could try and depend on Xnova, but Xnova doesn't really want to play around him all the time, right?
He wants to play around the gyro.
Yeah.
Completely right.
But at the same time, if you don't go this, if you do go the BKB, hold up, bottom lane, Jerax is going to be chain stunned here. He will have an opportunity. Oh, no, he won't. He'll just die a little bit too fast, thanks to the Finger of Death.
I really feel like PSG.LGD, they want to utilize this Ravage. Like, you want to do something with it in this game. Sometimes the threat is better, but in this game right now, OG's not really respecting the threat of the Ravage.
Do you agree with that? 85-15, is this game that one-sided to OG's favor?
No. And it starts here. Thompson.
They're going to be able to play Thompson here with a pipe as well. They're made super tanky. And a kill streak on him as well. That's going to mean a lot for PSG.LGD and the two heroes that collect that experience and that bounty. But bottom lane, OG is beginning to round some of these heroes. Anna looking to chase him down. FY turns around for the Hex, but that's just enough. Oh, Stomp doesn't hit. Even though the Hex is there, there's no damage, there's no stunts. Now Ame, who's just mid lane, is now bottom, looking for an opening.
He's invis right now.
They're all teaming away inside the trees. Can they find anybody who's going to go for the blind slight fist?
They're pinging right now on the ground. Anna.
He knows no tails here. Anna. I think he realized he just has to leave behind. But the Ravage instantly going out. They have managed to finish off no tail. Yes, but there's no way they can go for Anna now. You're right. They wanted to be able to use that Ravage, but they only use it to be able to kill a 5 position. And now they're going to trade out X Nova as he gets found expertly by Jerox.
And this is pretty disastrous, I think, for PSG.LGD because they rely so heavily on the Ravage to start fights for them too. And they haven't had to use the Chronosphere. This feels a little bit rough for them.
Yeah.
But they are farming a lot of stacks, and their timing is going to come once they get their BKBs. I feel like once you get your BKBs on PSG.LGD, the game changes once again.
Jerox, he's been really using the mobility of this swashbuckle to get wards down that you just wouldn't normally expect. Fortunately, because of that.
I think these teams do expect each other's wards, though.
Yeah,
they played against each other in these high-pressure situations now. This is the 3rd time.
If anybody's going to be able to see these kind of moves coming up from OG, it's got to be LGD.
Yeah, and it feels like OG, it feels like they're doing the same things that they did that made them successful in the first place.
Massive kill. Jerox is going to fall with that big rotation from LGD, though. Look at this rotation from OG. No tail.
That's real low, but
I actually thought for a second he was getting caught out by the Chronosphere. But he does jump away safely, kind of reading the situation in time.
And that's going to be the next timing window for PSG.LGD. It's once the BKBs come online, what do the fights look like? Of course, that doesn't solve all their problems because the Chronosphere doesn't really care. In the early game, though, BKB is so good against the Faceless Void, just because the time lock damage is magical. So if you get your BKB off, you're usually going to be okay.
Okay, so let's talk about later into the game. We have this Faceless Void, and the win probability heavily favoring OG. Is this just because the Chronosphere is the be-all, end-all of team fights? But you simultaneously said it's their only form of initiation.
Yeah, that's why I don't think the game is that over as Dota Plus thinks. I think it's closer to probably like 60-40, if I had to guess, because I feel like PSG.LGD's lineup, they have multiple ways to begin a fight, and at the top level, I feel like that determines a lot. Whoever can start a fight first, it makes their lineup so much easier to play.
Yeah.
It's not impossible to play OG's lineup, but the execution has to be so high.
Yeah.
It means that Anna has to hit like these 2-3 man chronos that consistently catch at least one core hero, that consistently catch at least the Oracle so he doesn't just get that hard save. Whereas for PSG.LGD, you have Ravage, you're going to get Blink on your Lion at some point, your Gyro with his BKB can just run in for you, your Ember Spirit can consistently just sit in the back lines, poke you with chains. Like that is easy ways to begin a fight. Whereas like Thompson won't do that for you. Seb's hero, he's very farmed, but Nature's Prophet by nature can't really begin a fight. He doesn't come with a stun. Sprout is nice, but it works. It's like it's one of those abilities that it sucks early game. It's pretty good in the mid game.
Yeah.
Late game, it's kind of bad, and then ultra late game, it's great again because you start running out of things like Pulling Blades and Force Stacks.
Oh, hell yes.
What do you think is going through LGD's head in a situation like this, where they've opted to go the double BKBs? You've obviously shown some questions about it. You're not sure if this is like maybe they're sacrificing too much of their game. Do you think it's they're scared of this early game of OG and want to make sure they're not run over? Or do you think it's more about they feel confident in their late game and they just have to weather through the storm in the next coming moment?
I think it's both. I feel like what they're trying to do is match OG's timing. OG is a very timing-based team. Once they get their 2 or 3 items, they just want to run at you and fight. I think PSG.LGD, what they're trying to do is weather that storm, and by going for the BKBs, you give yourself the best chance at actually being able to team fight 5-on-5, because I feel like that's what a lot of teams lack, is the ability to engage OG on their terms. That's what we saw EG falter in Game 2 and Game 3, when they took that Terrorblade and the Anti-Mage. They just never had any opportunities to straight up 5-on-5.
Was that intentional? Looked intentional.
Crowd having a little bit of fun with this pause right now, as so are the players. And I love to see the fact that LGD, we obviously saw in some of the documentaries and such that it did get into LGD's head, all the chat wheel that was happening, right? There is a psychological element to Dota 2.
You don't think they've muted each other by now?
And I mean, I like the fact that LG is playing along. Whether or not they've muted OG and are just, spamming out chat wheel, hoping that they see it. But I like the fact that they're doing it just as much as OG is.
You got to, you got to face your fears, right? You can't run from them. You know that OG is doing it. You can't let it bother you.
And what better way to do it with tons of fans and friends supporting you here in Shanghai?
I can't believe both teams, by the way, have made it back.
I know, it's just so insane because we always talk about the marker, right, of the first player to be able to win an international twice. And then the fact that it hasn't happened yet, 8 years of internationals, now on our 9th, the fact that it hasn't happened yet goes to show how hard it is to maintain that dominance in the Dota 2 field, that the competition level is so high that you just cannot be the best for very long.
I think it's because of the meta switches.
Yeah.
It's that, and it's the motivation. Once you've won TI, you've won it all. And once you've gotten second, I feel like we had that second place curse for a while, right? Where we saw DC, C-Deck, this team that just kind of falls off a cliff.
Yep.
It's so hard to motivate yourself to think you were that close to winning it all. On one side, you have a team that thinks to themselves, we worked so hard and we came up short. And you have another team that says, well, we've accomplished everything that we need to in Dota. And the fact that they've been able to push themselves back to this level, both sides, it means they're hungry as ever.
I mean,
that's simply incredible.
The story with LGD, I think, is really interesting, where you have players like Maybe, who have been long heralded as this god-tier player who was kind of chosen by a lot of the Chinese fans and such to be that player that would represent them and bring home the Aegis.
Yeah, he is their champion.
Yeah. And I can see the motivation, I can see all the stories for them, but how does OG have the will to just make it through again? Back to back like this.
Yeah, it's incredible from both sides. Yeah. I respect the hell out of this competition. I'm sure they have a lot of mutual respect for each other. Mm-hmm. It must be so surreal looking over the stage and you see these guys and you think to yourself, here we go again.
By the way, I just want to point out the fact that we know that every single day OG has developed their own taunt meta, we'll say, right? Where it came with the sprays, now it comes with the flags they've been laying down the last few days. They've been changing up their icons every day for OG, and has been just different pictures of each other from the TI.
Oh, they chose each other.
Yeah. So, for example, Jerix has that Thompson photo where he's pointing towards the camera, sort of like an invoker. That's actually one of my favorites. I have to imagine, like, these guys, they've been on this stage before, but having a pause like this, I wonder how much of a reset it bothers OG, who's a very momentum-based team. Right? Whereas LGD obviously have yet to be able to hit their timings in their BKB, are able to plan out a little bit about what OG's next move is going to be. And it is kind of OG's, it's in their court, right? Because they have this Nature's Prophet, and they have this Thompson Boots of Travel. They want to be able to outmaneuver LGD as much as possible.
So the one thing about these heroes, when you have Zeus and Nature's Prophet, is they want to abuse the fact that they can play globally. What you want to do is push in the lanes, force one hero from PSG.LGD to come back, deal with the lanes, and as soon as that happens, you find yourself in a 4v5 situation. I think in a pure 5-on-5, it's actually really hard for OG to win team fights, unless you get like some sick chrono off. But as a whole, I think if you run it back a few times, PSG.LGD comes out on top. Which is why I think they took the Ember, because you have a hero that, because I was thinking about it, why did they take Ember over here, like Storm, for example? Yeah. And I think the reason why they took it is, this is another hero, he didn't go Boots of Travel, but he does have the ability to simply keep a Remnant near his teammates, TP back, deal with the lane, and come back in. And that's why he has to go for the BKB, because at some point, OG's going to read that trap.
Yeah.
and they're going to say, we can just bring in our Orchid Nature's Prophet +1 hero. He's going to die every single time.
Yeah.
So you have to get that BKB. It's not just for the team fight. It's so that you can safely push out the side lanes. It's such a cool meta that's developed in this regard. Like, that's why the draft matters so much. Like, you need some way to deal with OG's ability to just deal with the waves at all times. You don't want the waves in your face. That's how OG sets up fights.
So just like we were talking about how LGD is going to identify OG's win condition in Anna's Faceless Void, how they're actually going to be able to start fights. The same's going to be happening with LGD, identifying how OG wants to move around the map and how they're going to try and counter that.
Yeah, I've watched their games. Like, I don't watch a lot of replays. I like to watch the games live, but these games I study like 40 times. The finals and their upper bracket finals.
Yeah.
Because I found it so interesting, like the mini meta that has developed between these two teams. Like why they pick the heroes that they pick. Because they've definitely developed like an internal meta anyways. They've extended their best of like 14 across 2 different tournaments now.
He's under attack.
Bounty Rune's going to be split, but Ame will have the advantage of finding a double damage rune. See whether or not LGD wants to try and take a fight against OG now that they have their double BKBs, one for Gyro, one for the Ember Spirit. Tops, meanwhile, he's got Eul's Scepter plus Boots of Travel. Anna has his Hand of Midas and is going to be working on a fast Diffusal Blade, so he's not as reliant on bashes or Chronospheres to be able to lock people down and get his damage in. After Seb finished up that Orchid, he's got a BKB on its way. So very fast timing for him.
And you notice that OG, for once, they're not just looking for the straight-up 5-man. They'll just continue to poke and prod, see where the weakness is for PSG.LGD, and as soon as they aren't together as 5. And you notice right here, Ame, he's playing away from his team. This is the correct move.
Yep.
Always play away from your team because you have the ability to gap close and come in to help them out. Gonna get gone on at bottom for the time being. Silent stuff, but...
He's ready to try and finish off Seb. You use the BKB as soon as he thinks he's got Seb dead, and Seb's going to try and go for the TP, but it's not going to go. And that was 1,000 gold for Ame. Holy crap.
That's, and now he's level 17. Oh. He's level 17?
Oh. Okay, well, that's halfway to a relic already for Ame.
That's the same level as the Zeus who's got the XP talent cap, just for context.
Okay, then.
That's more than double X Novas.
Well, you can see exactly why OG want to stay away from 5-man fight right now, because PSG.LGD, they're very strong. Between their double BKBs and their Blink Dagger picked up by the Tidehunter. The worst thing that they can happen for OG is trying to challenge PSG.LGD and get caught into a Ravage situation.
And this is why I didn't think the game was 85-15, because PSG.LGD can just do this. They can send one hero at all times, Ame. You'll always see him be the one to push out the lanes, and as soon as he does, the rest of his team can 4-man, do whatever they feel like because they feel strong, because they know that OG doesn't want to just get into a straight 5-on-5. And that's OG's strength, but they've gone for something a little bit different here.
Maybe he's farming really fast too. Like, even though he went for the straight BKB and not one of those farming items, he will have an Aghanim Scepter very soon. That's going to make this Gyrocopter extremely tanky.
I think these BKBs were more picked up so in case there is a team fight, but so you can secure these towers.
Yeah.
When you go for these tower pushes, OG, they'll see the smoke with the Zeus ulti.
How do you
get active in the lanes fast?
Once you have that kind of play where you smoke up, you have an idea of what you want to go for, and something like this happens where your smoke has been spotted out. Do you adapt? Do you keep on going for what your original
I think you get vision out.
Okay, you just use this moment to be able to get vision instead of fighting.
It's a little bit too obvious to get into a 5-on-5 situation.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just awkward. The better thing to do is get vision, because that's really all you can do. The enemy team knows that you're together. So it's best to just see where you can place wards without actually getting spotted out, and that's exactly what they do.
X-Nova dropping sentries all over the place, making sure, and this is just one of those really common, if you're Radiant side, you've lost their safe lane tower, you're going to try and control your own jungle area because it helps you control the mid lane tower as well. So he's trying to find any of those observer wards before he actually drops his own off.
Yeah, and it's actually FY that's in this top lane, so PSG.LGD should have activated. OG's going to look for this fight because they know that this line can't come in. At best, it's a 4-on-5. That's why Anna's looking for it.
Why do you think they sent the Lion back?
I'm not sure. I think they were actually trying to avoid the 5-on-5. And you saw for a second they were there as 4, and they're like, wait, the hero is not here.
Yeah.
Anytime FY shows in a lane like that, OG's going to smoke up and take a fight. Anytime maybe shows in a lane like that, OG will smoke up and take a fight.
Yeah, because the disables are so effective against the OG heroes, right? Faces Void, you've got this Pango who can't really swashbuckle forward, has to just rely on Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of a mistake by FY, showing in that top lane. As soon as you showed in that top lane, it makes it really hard for the rest of PSG.LGD to be down in that bottom area.
Now, Blitz, a lot of people are going to say, well, what do you mean mistake? Because nothing bad happened. We actually didn't lose any heroes as a result. Why was that bad for PSG.LGD?
Because I think they wanted to take that fight. I think they want to be in that bottom area and continue to protect their ward. If you notice, as a result of that happening, they instantly lost this ward down here at bottom. Being able to protect that ward and take a fight around that, because they placed 2 sentries too, you know that OG, they don't have any vision in that camp. Like, you'll win the vision advantage in that fight alone.
Yeah.
And being able to fight with vision is so important for your cores.
And now they're really fractured, right? As they retreated back, they naturally, like, some
this is what
their triangle, and this is what OG is trying to take advantage of. They know, okay, they retreated, highly unlikely they all 5-man back to the same side.
It's a little bit awkward for them because now whenever you have to back out like that, like you said, I really like that point, it leaves an opening. Naturally, somebody is going to go in a different direction.
You have to be in crazy discipline as a team to, like, 5-man back in that situation. Like, sure, if you're hitting high ground, everyone knows, back together, nobody TP away foolishly, don't let them get an opening. But, like, in that situation, right, going from jungle to jungle, naturally people want to farm.
Yeah, if you notice, the Ember Spirit is really close to a Sacred Relic, and his Radiance. You have Ame that just finished up his Aghanim Scepter. Like, these guys want items. It's human nature. You're really close to something, like, just a little bit more.
Yep. And he will get that Aghanim Scepter because of the way he's split up, but we'll see whether or not he gets caught.
Yeah, I mean, that's the scariest part about OG is they sort of ignore that in a way. They're like, screw human nature. Yeah, because you have this Nature's Prophet that's almost close to an AC. And Toxin almost has his Aghanim Scepter, like, and they're just like, whatever, just take the fight.
Yeah.
The numbers advantage is too good.
They could have just, you know, like, okay, like, we've taken over our own jungle, let's keep farming and such, but instead, OG is the kind of team that just says, hey, they've screwed up, let's take advantage of that. How you feeling, Blitz? Enjoying TI?
Oh, I love this series.
God, it's so good, right?
If you can tell, like, I did my homework.
Yes.
I watched the VODs.
Yep.
Oh, because I wanted to know, like, what makes these teams tick.
Yeah.
Why is OG as good as they are? Because I feel like LGD, what they're doing is, like, they're playing into it a little bit. They're like, okay, OG is the same squad.
Yeah.
That's no criticism of them. It's actually impressive, like, how well they've done.
Yeah.
Off of, like, this one principle of Dota. And it's like, you know, invade the jungle, secure the safe lanes out, push them out, force people to play at your tempo. And PSG.LGD is thinking, what are the counters to that? We don't want to play the same game. We don't want to get into these, like, 70-minute slugfest. Because I feel like OG, that's what they like. They like to clinch you, throw to the body repeatedly. And PSG.LGD, conversely, they're like, what's the counter to that then? How do we deal with that? We pick up these early BKBs. We have a hero that can deal with the split push. Make it so that we can punish them in the 5-on-5 fights.
Since we are going to be here for just a bit longer, I want to tell you guys something about the atmosphere of this stadium. There's basically, there's 2 different big seating areas. One at the bottom, one at the top. And it is just packed all the way to the tip of the top of the stadium.
Yeah, it's actually wild how many OG fans came out.
Yeah, we had a decent number of fans right behind me. Yeah. But other than that,
no, there's everywhere. There's about half the crowd, I'd say.
Half the crowd are cheering for OG.
Yeah.
They're just not near the mics.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
They're just not near the crowd mics.
They're a little bit further.
Yeah.
they got some upper seats. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah. Unfortunately, all the LGD fans are all at the bottom, and that's everything you hear. No, it's like, again, it was almost deathly quiet when OG came out. No booing or anything, but and I think the crowd is smart in that way. They want OG to know, like, hey, we supported you up until now, but in this series, we're definitely back at LGD.
Yeah.
Everyone's holding their LGD is invincible flags. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the brackets and see how OG and LGD managed to make it this far. It was crazy how many of the same teams were showing up in that upper bracket again, right?
It feels like deja vu. Last time, of course, EG, they went a little bit further, but things happen.
True. They got their rematch against OG in the upper bracket semifinals, just like last year.
That was a real heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Although this time around, they kind of got crushed.
The LGD versus VG game, I'm a little bit sad that one went 2-0 just because, hearing them talk about playing against each other and what that was like. I mean, they said that LGD actually, was like, they really respect each other, right? Like VG Gaming, they're a young squad, so they look up to everybody who's on the side of LGD. And now they're going to have to ride all their hopes for a China TI.
Yeah. Wasn't it Fade that was like, I'd love, he's like, my dreams to go to the finals against LGD, and then LGD wins.
And then crown LGD. Very cute. And LGD, I'm sure, is feeling a lot of that pressure of being the last remaining home team. There's a lot of little stuff in that interview. So I think it was also Fade who said, like, is he 20, 22 years old or something? He's like, I've been a fan of FY for 22 years. And I think that's something about Dota in China, right? Is that there is just a bigger legacy to be had, right?
Yeah.
Dating back to the Dota 1 days.
Now that DDC, as you know, my personal favorite player in the world, now that DDC's out, I think I might switch sides to the Chalice train. I think that might be
your new favorite.
Yeah, it might be that, or like Seb. Because Seb was a talent. And then he rode his way back.
That was the crazy part. We worked ESL 1 Frankfurt with Seb.
Dude, he told me.
We watched him win a TI, and now we're watching him in an upper bracket fight.
Deadass, he looked me in the eye.
Yeah?
And he said, I'm going to make it as a pro again. And I laughed inside.
You laughed at him?
I straight up was like, oh, good luck, dude. I was like, I'll see you next TI, as a panelist. And then, what a fool he made me. And I'm so happy for him. Couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was always a pleasure to be able to work with Seb. Just, a very happy guy all around. And I think it's also really inspiring. I think it was inspiring to a lot of people.
Yeah, Syndren's back there like writing as many notes as he can about what happened. It's like, what did he do at these events?
How did he get the motivation? Well, Syndren, first thing, you have to become a coach.
Yes.
That was the first step, right? It's just coming back and being a coach. And that's
we're going to get back into the game.
Let's get back into it. OG versus LGD, game 1. We are 24 minutes in. OG have a 1,000 net worth lead. They have a global combo between Furion plus a Boots, a Travel, Tops, and Zeus. We are closing in on some very key items.
Bottom lane. They look like they want to make a play for
leading out Seb, though, with his early BKB. Again, he got the Orchid super fast, so BKB had it about 23 minutes.
Match that tempo.
Last time Ame challenged him in that 1v1 and he gave away 1,000 gold. Seb was just a little bit shy of the BKB, but this time he's got it.
It probably tips you off to the fact that you're the highest net worth here in the game. When you see that 1,000.
Yeah. It's one of those things, you don't really know that information until perhaps it's a bit too late. Bounty roots on the ground. PSG.LGD scrambling to grab everything on the bottom lane. OG did not get the chance to be able to punish maybe in his positioning, so he does pick up the Aghanim Scepter. And even popping the Shrine, even though he was about 3/4 full. Just gonna top things off. Get some fresh fuel for the fight to come.
I love when people hold on to bounty runes, by the way. Let it percolate.
Why though? It doesn't do anything. Once you put it into your bottle, it's based off the time you picked it up.
I know, but it's cool.
It's cool?
It's like you've got a gold explosion.
Guys, I don't have buyback. Someone use your bottle bounty rune.
Well, as soon as he hits like 1,200 gold, he's gonna pop it.
Okay. It's gonna be that surprise, haha.
All right, they're gonna go for. I'd like to see him Remnant back, TP, help his team.
Yep. Deal with that top lane push. It is a big push.
This is your job right now as Ame. Letting anybody else do this job, no. It's purely for him. Stay down here as 4 on the side of PSG.LGD. Stick around, let him get his Radiance.
Anna's kind of sticking around, right? He may try and go for the Chronosphere onto Ame.
Yeah, they're going to TP in with the Nature Crop.
And he goes straight up the Chronosphere. The TP coming in for the Furion just outside of me. Doomep. He wants to get, but the BKB activated. He jumps away. This is why Ame picked up the fast BKB, and sadly Seb was just on the outside of
That is why
some auto attack.
It's not for the team fight. It's for when you go for these split pushes that you need to be afraid. And Seb, if he TPs on the other side, they definitely get that kill.
Yeah. And he was stuck in a situation where he was already TPing basically at the same time the Chronosphere was down. So he was like, I shouldn't really cancel this and replace it.
That was such a sick trap. By getting punished for that now, losing the bottom tier 2 tower, you can put even pressure. And this is the worst thing as a Nature's Prophet. Once you lose your tier 2 towers, the potential for trading racks is always available to them. And because you have this Ember Spirit, it's even harder to just go for a 1-for-1 racks trade.
Right.
So if PSG.LGD feels stronger, they'll just go for it.
And they should be picking up the pace right about now, right? They just got their Radiance. They know there's no Chrono.
Yeah, you go for it right now.
There's no better time to go for it, and that's why they're just trying to, they're not going for the kill at all, but they're just trying to push Chalice back, make him so he's low enough he doesn't feel comfortable leading an engagement. They push out mid, which is going to make this smoke a little bit more obvious. They use the Orchid onto Ame. He's obviously fine. Will hold on to his BKB charge as well. PSG.LGD, they're going to be spotted. Thunder God's Wrath, just as we were talking about that mid lane push, pushing Chalice back, pushing the wave in, makes that obvious. They read exactly where PSG.LGD is, but LGD still going to go for it. As Chalice going to wrap around with FY behind the tier 1 tower. They're going to jump for it. Catching No Tail. The Rolling Thunder is out from Jerax already. He's going to hit FY as well as the Thunder God's Wrath and stuff, but they're going to be able to bring down one support at least. Chalice left in an awkward position here, but maybe focusing on that objective. And OG, a little bit skittish about taking the fight. They've got 15 seconds left of the Chronosphere, and that's why Ame immediately going to jump into the high ground, hoping to be able to help Nova out. He's going to use the ultimate. There goes the Ravage, but it doesn't actually catch Alano. They only managed to finish up Jerax. They're going to jump over to the shrine where Thompson is sitting all by himself. No, the buyback coming in. Jerax, he's going to try and help out more Thompson here. Youth Scepter onto himself, and Jar Club's trying to stay away from Anna, and all that physical damage. The Chrono's back. It just came out. The Rocket Rock is enough to finish off Anna, and Anna will finish off the Gyro in turn. Ame, he does have a lot of damage, though, with that Radiance. Can they chase down Anna?
Seb is still strong.
James is instead going to go for the 2 supports here. He's got Steph as well as Jerax. He will not try and chase down the carry of Anna, but he will get 2 kills for the team.
And that was the buyback from Jerax. Fantastic fight from PSG.LGD. That all comes down to X-Nova's positioning. They all leaned on him while they were killing the cores of the backline of OG. And once you get on top of the Zeus, the team fight feels completely over.
14 to 16, 29 minutes in, and PSG.LGD for the first time in about 15 minutes had the net worth lead. No matter how small it is, they do have the lead, they do have the experience. The Chronosphere being used in that last fight as well, that's got to give PSG.LGD a lot of confidence to keep this going. They need Ravage, though, in 70 seconds.
And they should feel really strong right now.
Yeah.
It's so hard for OG to take a fight. Like I said, straight up 5-on-5s, OG will lose. Even with Chronos, OG hit a 2-man Chrono onto both cores, and it doesn't matter.
So X-Nova, there's a lot of ways that Oracle's trying to solve the problem, which is you've got a target on you. Everyone's going to try and chase you down. And a lot of them go for Glimmer Capes, Blink Daggers, maybe an Ether Lens to help the cast range. But here, because of the global presence of Furion plus Zeus, we've got X-Nova trying to rush an A on this, which is a really smart decision, I think.
It also makes it so that if you do get chronoed with one of your 2 cores, you'll never be focused down.
Yeah.
It just wastes more and more time from Ana. And I think for PSG.LGD, the longer the fight lasts, because you have a core that can consistently catch up to the enemy team and comes with his own stun, you're going to be stronger. Which is wild to think about, considering Zeus is one of the best.
Yeah, that is one thing. The only thing that really can stop that longer team fight going in the favor of LGD has got to be Thompson, and that's why they've been trying to focus him down so much.
He needs a Blink Dagger.
20. That's what he's going for, is that Blink Dagger. Again, the Orchid, but again, Ame doesn't care. In fact, he almost has an Aghanim Scepter already.
He needs to outplay them right now, Thompson.
Yeah.
Get the Blink Dagger. Figure out your positioning in team fights to be able to get in and out.
It's going to be so hard against the Aghanim Scepter, Ember Spirit. I've heard a lot of Ember Spirit players, CCNC in particular, I think, Gunnar as well agreed with this. The Aghanims is a bit of a trap. But in this game, right, it is meant for it. Trying to get on top of the Zeus is like Ame's biggest objective in every single fight, and Aghanim Scepter will do a lot for them.
Didn't they say it was a trap when you get it before you hit level 25?
Yeah, I think that was also another part of it, in which Ame is closing in on 25.
Yeah, once you get your 25 plus the Aghanim Scepter, I think it's real good.
Yeah. He's already got so many damage items as well. Hasn't opted for anything that's going to proc off a Sleight of Fist just yet. But
I would have really liked for, in this game in particular, for him to have gone for the Boots of Travel. It makes this playstyle that he's opting for a little bit stronger.
Yeah. I'm a little bit surprised he didn't go for the Maelstrom as well, considering how, the Furion with so many treants.
Radiance works?
Radiance works just as well, I guess, and maybe stronger in these team fights for him.
Radiant.
The Blink Dagger's almost here for Tops, and what else do we have? Jerix is trying to get a Glimmer Cape, I think specifically to help out Thompson, because they know how important his positioning is in these fights. Seb has his AC. And Anna with the BKB as well as a Manta. 9-second BKB left for him.
I sort of feel like OG, they sort of have to go for a smoke, pick off the core, and immediately try to Roshan. And use that Roshan to get even more map control. Grab this 2-2 tower at bottom, then diverge onto this mid lane.
Because you are going to feel like really good once you have that Satanic on
yes.
Timer, right? So
I think they really need to make that play on the side of OG. Go for some sort of 5-man, try to get the cores. If you can find the Ember Spirit doing this playstyle, that would be ideal. The problem is, normally you get one moment where you can trick somebody, and they forget about how they can die. Yeah. And that was a top lane. But maybe they can do it again. Ame, if he's going to stick around for the next creep wave, he could just die here.
2,500 HP. Can he actually live through with all this? They're going to be able to help out with the Nimbus as well as York, and with the Manta, man. Anna just cleaned him up so quick.
Go Roche. Go Roche.
Go Roche. Is this the opportunity for OG that they needed to claim the Aegis?
You at least have an opportunity to, if he did have buyback, you could maybe force a buyback, but as soon as they know that they're Roshing and they can't buyback, they know the Ember's out of the fight.
Yeah.
They didn't go for a smoke, but it's the same idea. Get a core pick off, go into Roshan. You have to use this Aegis.
And how much of this is a feint from Chalice? Is he just threatening, hey, Ember Spear could buy back, you got to get out of this pit? Or does he actually think they can win a 5 versus 4?
I don't think they can win a 5 versus 4, but they're trying to stall it up as long as they can. But once they see FY at top lane, they're going to just walk back into the Roshan pit.
Yeah.
They know this isn't a real fight. This is sort of just buying a little bit of time.
OG are doing a really good job of making the most of this, right? With the push onto top lane, getting tier 3, the tier 1 at bottom, actually does fall. Chalice.
Yeah, what they're trying to do is buy time with the Ember Spirit. There's about still a 25-second window. Seb is now here with his AC.
All right, if OG was going to commit, they have to do it now. At 20 seconds.
Nice defense by PSG.LGD.
Yeah, that was so smart of Chalice.
Chalice just walks in. He knows there's no chrono. He can't die. He's got a pipe and a Solar Crest and Vlad's. But I do think the idea behind what OG was going for is the right play.
Yeah. And hey, if that play happens again, then next thing you know, you've taken the tier 2 at bottom.
Oh, they're going for now.
Ooh. PSG.LGD, they said, you didn't want to fight us? 4 versus 5? Well, guess what? Now the Ember Spirit's alive. And we don't think you're going to fight us for this.
They got to wait out chrono, too. 10 seconds left, so it is going to be up. PSG.LGD, because they've got this this Satanic, I think they feel a little bit too overconfident. They've got to be careful. If this Faceless Void engages, I was looking for the angle right now. He sees 2 cores for the time being. But both teams just playing around this area, both loath to just give it up.
Roshan is getting so low, bit by bit, that eventually someone's going to fully commit to it. They are going to be able to get the pick off. That's going to start with FY. Now the Orchid onto the Tidehunter, prevent any sort of ravage, as the OG did get a little bit too close to that watermelon.
Look at this, Ana. He's making his way up.
Making sure to use that mobility to their advantage. UNC Seb pushing in bottom lane. This is an opportunity for him to take the tier 2. With no boots of travel, Ame has a tough time being able to deal with this. He's going to run to bottom lane, but the damage, a significant amount, will have already been done with the double Siege Wagon push.
Seb likely to take this tower. At least the Siege Wagons, they'll get him denied.
Solar Crest. They finish off the Nimbus. That's another 100 gold.
Maybe he's committed for this. FY's coming back right now.
Oh, that 40 movement speed coming in just at the right time. Ame sees the opportunity to be able to jump in the back line. Top time, FY's been stunned up onto Anna. Now maybe is going to be able to get around, but Thompson being hunted down the ramp is going down. The blink! He got the guess right! He gets out with the Shrine activated. FY might just be able to live. Jerry's getting a little stuck on the cliff, but it looks like FY does manage to live. Ame jumping back into this one. Will manage to find No-Tail here. That's one support down, 5 for 5. Now LGD trying to go back into their own home ground to be able to finish up, and he got it! He did the thing for his death! He's dead, and now OG.
He does have buyback and Chrono Sphere. He's got to commit to it right now if he is going to do it.
He does have a TP scroll up. He's going to commit now with a stomp, landing on a 3. Can maybe finish this one up.
Solo.
He's going to be able to jump in, throw the sphere out. The aim's already been picked up in Anna.
They've got to retreat.
This is no longer a fight he can take, but Jared's already picked off the stun. Stable. Anna's been hit. Anna's been caught. And time walks over the side. Seven's here for the Sprout. Anything to be able to protect brother Anna, but he's still been slowed down. Another stomp. This time for the A team. And that will be enough for Anna to be able to get out. It looks like Seb. His life has been forfeited here as he's going to be chased down by Ame. Pops the BKB. Tries to go for the Sprout TP away, and he's fine, actually. Impressive play by OG to be able to bail out Anna and still get out. But still, a big win for PSG.LGD as they managed to just finish up Roshan just in time. I mean, the balls that may be there to say, I'm going to pop BKB and I'm finishing up this Roshan, even as Anna's buying back and trying to TP in.
Oh, that was so rough. I actually thought that fight was going to go okay for OG. After they went on Thompson and Thompson outplays them, Yule's into the blink. He dodges the Ravage. He goes right. The Ember Spirit think he walked up. It looked really good. And then Anna was never able to get his Chronosphere off in that engagement. He just didn't really see a good opportunity. He wasn't able to keep up with his Zeus, so they weren't able to layer their damage together. As we're going to see again, he drops the Chronosphere. He thinks about running in, but he knows that's a trap. FY, he's ready with the stun.
I mean, maybe if he had been able to time walk actually into the pit, he was just there a second faster. Time walks into the pit, gets off the Chronosphere. Sadly, level 20 talent just wasn't quite enough. I thought Seb was dead here for sure.
Nice BKB usage. Gets the Sprout just around his body.
And it's always tough. You've seen it time and time before. These late game Furions, nobody wants to be able to hold on to a Quelling Blade this late. FY and Chalice are the only ones who have it here. Oh, no, never mind. X-Nova has it as well. Butterfly up next for our Gyrocopter. And this is going to be some serious momentum for PSG.LGD. It's funny, though, that win probability still heavily favoring OG. And I think even after that fight, it may still be in their favors. Yeah, 66%. Again, the late game of the Basis Void and trying to go high ground against that, as well as the ET, the Zeus, the mobility of the Furion. The list actually goes on and on how good high ground defense is for OG.
I still think this game is slightly PSG.LGD favored.
Yeah.
I'm not really willing to... I think this game's straight coin flippy. The OG's lineup, the way that it functions is if they do win one team fight, they're going to push in the lanes real quick. They've got the build strat, they've got an AC, their heroes hit towers very well. But I feel like right now, PSG.LGD, they should win most of the team fights. It's a lot easier for their Ember Spirit to get his damage off as opposed to Thompson, who's got to play constantly on retreat. Like, he has to rely on Anna to get that Chronosphere off, and when he doesn't, you see how weak their lineup looks.
So we have with the Scythe of Ice being finished up by Seth. Ame is already trying to address that with an Aeon Disc for his own. So
they do have a Hex now on Seth. That's a big item pickup for him.
So that's why he's trying to go for that Aeon Disc, because the BKB may not be enough anymore. He still needs to be able to address that split push from OG, even if they have the team fight locked in, especially with the Aegis on maybe right now. They have to make sure they are not outmaneuvered by OG, as they've done that so many times in the past, and so many times at this international as well. It's part of what their aggression, why it looks so good, right, is being able to, first of all, put the enemy team in the wrong place, wrong part of the map, and then force that fight, a Shadow Blade. Or Seb just to help him get that Scythe of Ice off.
It's good damage too, and it helps him so that he can deal with these stragglers. He doesn't have to pop his BKB just to get kills. There is a gem pickup almost immediately by X-Nova. I think they're feeling the lack of boards right now. Like, they I think they've accepted that they're never going to get wards out for very long, but they also have to take away OG's vision if they can. That's where OG's lineup is still pretty potent.
It's so hard against a Furion, right? Like sometimes you just give the wards to the Furion, even if he's poor, and he goes out, plants some Jerix with his swashbuckle, allowing him to get to places that most supports can as well.
Yeah, we saw in the pre-game stats, by the way, both teams used to such aggression, but this time, and they played against each other so often that they've slowed down the pace. They know that all it really comes down to is the team fights.
Thundergod's Wrath going off, just making sure that LGD can't really challenge for this bounty room. And that'll allow OG to be able to get 3 out of the 4. Even against an Aegis. It goes to show, like, PSG.LGD, they're still going to be a little bit timid about taking fights against OG. Especially as they're split around the map. The Rolling Thunder going off, does manage to knock up X-Nova with that fly being finished off as well. 2 different kills like this would be massive. They do have Ame coming in, but immediately the BKB from Seb, they know 2 pickoffs on the supports as long as nobody dies here. They're going to do a long jump in from the Aghanim Scepter Spirit to be able to chase down No-Tail, but No-Tail managed to get off the stomp onto Ame. Ame finishes him off with a double damage, especially with Chalice and maybe joining him in the mid lane.
And so the split push continues. Top's in that top lane. Seb towards bottom. If you can't fight him, extend the game until you find opportunities where you can.
Especially with these level 25 talents coming in. Anna has his with the Chronosphere AoE. We've got.
I know there's no BKB, but no vision either.
Yeah. Those effective late game Shadow Blades. It's always tough for cores to carry vision.
Yeah, that's why Nature's Prophet, it doesn't feel awful, even though you can't team fight too well. Sprout is going to get much better as the game goes on. Your Shadow Blade will get a lot better because cores can't really carry around the gems or anything like that.
Yeah. Look at that, though. The most Zeus's I see go for that 155 hard lightning damage. It's so much, considering how often you spam it. Oh, it's this TP in Seb! That's some church bells hanging between his legs right there. Just TP's in, instantly BKBs, finished off the tier 3. Now shrines have been unlocked, and eventually he'll take it with the Treants.
Look at Maybe's build, by the way. He's decided to go for the Basher because he's so tired of this. He knows they need some way to punish that.
With the Mjolnir attack speed as well, he's just going to be focusing on all of the
bottom lane
various procs. They are going to be able to get the Aegis to pop here and takes away the regen while Ame being gone out. They do have the Chronosphere. It's Seb going to be able to get enough
damage for this.
It just overwhelms Ame very quickly. He still, and I'm not sure if he ever will, be tanky enough to live through that Chronosphere unless he's got the Aeon Disc.
He didn't have a remnant far back enough. I think he was relying on the speed to try to outplay. Got a little bit lazy there. And OG punishes their lineup. It's designed to constantly pressure the lanes, find openings like that.
Mjolnir, almost complete for Somnus. We've got the 20 strength for the Pangolier. Popping Link gets managed to get the Hex follow up, and they're just going to try and jump out as quickly as possible. They do have him dead. That was buyback from Ame, and that's 2 minutes. He is dead for 2 minutes now off of the buyback around Roshan, and LGD know about that.
Yeah, there was no one near him. Anna just decided to step forward.
And now Seb's going to do everything he can to try and force the attention to the side lanes rather than that mid lane where PSG.LGD is barreling down. But that's where Ame comes into play. He may not have that Aeon Disc, but he's going to play like he does have it. Jerix going to rolling in with his Glimmer Cape, the Invis Ball. Not really doing a whole lot, especially since they have the vision down. They're going to do a decent amount of Somnus. But now Thompson with the Blink initiation from that blind ear splitter. Going to come a little bit too late. No damage being dealt. And Somnus can now turn all of his attention into the tier 3s. 80 seconds left for Anna's revival here. And PSG.LGD, they're going to have to poke him down to make sure they don't get caught by the Ravage. He's going to be hit on 3. They're going to chase down Jackson to the back line. It's already finished off 7. Back that is going to be good enough. And Anna, he will pay big time for his death in mid lane as his team scrambles time and time again to be able to push that PSG.LGD.
They save the racks here, it looks like.
Left. The initiation side of OG, they're going to be able to find the initiation once again on the Thompson. They have no save mechanism. Now he's dead for 2 minutes. And PSG.LGD, what's the point of being buried? Just hit the tier 4s and go throw.
40 seconds still for the Spaceless Void. Anna says to his team,
My bad. And it was indeed his bad. It's That one little mistake from him may have just cost them the game. Seb trying to draw some attention away from the tier 4s, away from the throne, but Jerry's can do little to stop his death. No Tails now here, 15 seconds, but the throne being just poked away by Somnus. He's doing so much damage, 2,000 HP, 10 seconds left in the void, 1,500, that's it, game 1. It's all PSG.LGD.
Such a tense game, and that one lacks in judgment.
Yep. This is what is going to determine the victory between these two teams who are so evenly matched for 40 minutes. One slip up in Roche, one slip up in the mid lane, and PSG.LGD will take game 1.
You can totally tell that they've done their homework.
This has been a great start to this series. I hope we go for the full series just like we've had in every single TI pass between LGD and OG.
Okay, and one of the things we hear from Will is the idea of LGD doing their homework, and I think that we definitely saw the stack of papers come out when OG walked onto the stage, but it is clear that LG has done their research as well. I want to go to an idea, though, that you guys talked about very early on when we talked about what this game may look like, and that was buyback. Was that really the key factor here, or would we see something completely different, Grant?
It was a little bit different. I mean, Anna kind of died back. We had that one big fight near Roche where 3PO bought back, but that game was a lot different than I expected, and it felt like both teams were just okay sitting back farming. And honestly, I was thinking maybe OG has the better late game, you know, with this Nature's Prophet as well as a Void, but one wasted chrono and they just kind of lost the game.
Yeah, I got to that point where Seb started some of that split pushing, right? He got the top tier 3, suddenly you're opening up shrines, and that's where things you're like, okay, this is OG, things are rolling for them. But it was a very skirmishy game. It wasn't these massive 5v5s.
At the Roche fight, I thought Anna's going to buy back way earlier and go in. It kind of costed them the advantage that they had at the point. And we see these kills that they earn 1,000 gold. This is also very game changing.
Yeah. 22 minutes, 1,000 gold to the Ember, and then I think at like 30 minutes, 1,000 gold to the Faceless Void. The factor of the comeback is absolutely ridiculous sometimes.
So you talk about the idea of when we look at this game, it's a very skirmish game. Do we think that the next game's going to look completely different? Do you think maybe we're going to get closer to the idea that you guys had during that first game of a game that's very focused around the buyback?
I think so. I think when OG loses, they're going to change it up. They haven't really been losing, right? So they haven't had to, quote unquote, change it up. And I just love the items on PSG.LGD. It was really, really good. They had like BKB super early. They had an Aeon disc on the Ember so that the Oracle could just ulti anyone else who got hit with it. It was really, really good.
Yeah, and there were not too many team fights early on, so their BKBs were 9-10 seconds, and they have nothing besides the chrono to throw into there once the BKBs are up. Also, Anna used his BKB most of the time to try to catch Oracle in the backlines, and once he comes back into a team fight, he just dies because he does not have any defensive items left.
We're seeing a lot of what we've seen from these two teams even in this series, right? LGD just has been playing by the book very, very well, and now when we do talk about that loss coming in on the side of OG, how do they react? Are we going to see what they've been able to do in the past, where they get back in and it's like nothing ever happened? I do think that when we look at this series as well, it is really exciting to see how OG will start to adapt.
Yeah, I mean, you heard Seb say, I've been to China, I've gotten booed. He knew it was coming, and I was surprised. I have to say, I did not think that they would get booed, especially after they lost. I thought it would be more so just like cheers and everything like that, but the mental warfare that OG loves to throw so much, it's still there. So there you go.
I feel like there's a very defined cheering meta here in this arena.
Like, they're trying to keep up with OG.
Yeah. You know, it's very loud cheering when people actually like come out of the booths, and then it's like a respect clap. I feel like there's like a subtle respect clap. Not too much of the booing going on just yet. I think grand finals, that's when the claws are going to come out.
Oh yeah, they need to get that win on the home turf for sure.
Yeah, and it's looking very possible right now. I think we keep talking about what OG's changing. I think it's safe to say you guys want to see LGD potentially try to play the same type of game that they just played.
Yeah, LGD's gameplay was on point. The understanding of the timings, their item builds, fight around the Roche pit. Once again, also one of the crucial buybacks on Lion, which kind of caught the Void off guard, which gave them the Roche once again. So they don't have to necessarily change anything. And I think OG is one of the best teams to come back because they don't care that they just lost the game.
Yeah, and now we're actually going to get to hear just a little bit more from the players. We're going to throw it down to Casey and hear what everybody had to say. Oh, we're actually jumping right now to see what Casey had to ask the players.
Do you ever play Dota?
Yes, and I run around, try to get the last hit, and then when I die, I tell everybody else they suck.
You're pretty good if you knew that you need to get last hits.
Really?
Most people just run down and die. They don't know what.
No.
You need to shout in the mic though.
Oh, no, I do that. I played with a bunch of guys from Valve, and they never asked me back.
Oh, you did well then.
I was talking to Slacks. You can tell me, what do you really think about him?
About Slacks?
Yeah, he's nowhere nearby.
To be honest, I like him.
Good guy, right?
Yeah.
He's like the brother I never wanted.
He's I like his he's genuine.
Right?
Yeah, I like it, and it's just straight up. I like his honesty.
Well, he told me that in an interview he did with you in 2016 that if you had to be doing anything else and you couldn't play Dota for a living, that you would be a garbage man.
Yeah.
Is that true?
To be honest, it was all a joke back then. But it's like every joke has a little bit truth in it, you know, Casey?
Uh-huh.
So I'd be anything simple if it wouldn't be for something like Dota.
Yeah?
And my parents wanted me to become a lawyer or a doctor.
Really?
Yeah, it's a classic immigrant parents. But I chose this path. They came to terms.
I think you chose well, Kuro.
I'm happy to.
You know, Kuro, you'll always be a garbage man in my mind, and he might be cleaning out.
I'm not sure that's. Oh, I see. Oh, you're making a joke. Go ahead. Go ahead. You might be. Go ahead. Sorry, I stepped on your punchline. Go ahead.
He might be cleaning out a team later. But I do have a joke for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey, Casey, how do you beat OG?
I don't know.
You banana. I didn't bring the banana. Shit.
He's been planning this joke all week. He's been carrying a bruised banana in his pocket, except for the one time he decides to use the joke.
No problem. Don't worry about it. Whatever. We should move on anyway. The crowd's excited. LGD wins their first game. Casey, any predictions for game 2?
Oh, that's not very nice. I think LGD is going to win. Why are you making me predict? What's your prediction?
Back to you guys, Rich. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see the end of the series.
Now, I think that it's a reasonable prediction, though. I am a little bit disappointed that the banana was not in Slack's pocket. No banana there at all.
I saw
Let me
Fevy
say,
eating it
Let me say something stupid. I don't care who wins. I just want to see game 3. Does that make any sense? No, right?
Yeah, that's pretty stupid. You were right.
In a few ways, I guess it makes sense. And I do want to say, before we really do start looking ahead to game 2, let's just look at where we are in the tournament. If you're just tuning in right now, you picked a pretty good time. We are in the winners final, so neither of these teams have dropped a series in this championship bracket. And these are two of the teams. It's a rematch from last year.
Yeah.
These are two of the favorites at this point to take the tournament.
If you lost internet about a year ago and you just got it back online, welcome back. Here we are.
You're in the same
similar
spot.
thing. Yeah, it's fine. It's upper bracket, OG, LGD. And the story last year, I guess, was always it felt like LGD won 80% of the games the two teams played, but they didn't get the throne down every single time, right? OG had these unbelievable comebacks in several of those matches, so you got to wonder, are they just as able to come back into this series? I would say probably yes.
Do you think?
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. You think that that's the case, that we could potentially see these comebacks? We've already started to talk about how the next game could potentially look, how this series can shape up. But I want to ask a big picture question. There obviously aren't many teams left in the tournament right now. When you look at the entire field of play, Grant, who do you think out of these two teams is looking best in those matchups? Who do you think has the best chance to take down all of TI out of these two squads?
I mean, after game 1, it's LGD, right? Like, they just look extremely good. They did exactly what they wanted. What?
No, I mean, you're pretty smart.
Oh, thank you. No, it just feels like they played the game near perfectly. Like they knew exactly how they wanted to, the whole buyback thing and all that, and they come back into this. You're going to look into game 2, and they don't have to switch anything up. They can play exactly how they did before, and then, I mean, OG, they're going to be after one who just goes crazy.
Lacoste with a little bit of shade after he failed to count to 3. So I'm going to actually ask you right now, when you look at the other teams, do you really think that this is like the be-all matchup? You think whoever does take this head-to-head is enough to kind of indicate how they'll do?
They definitely have an advantage. They're in the upper bracket, especially LGD now that they're one game ahead of OG, but it does not matter at this point. It's still TI. Anything can happen. We have 4 best teams in the world which are competing against each other, and anything can happen.
Yeah,
we see a lot of these comebacks, not just in general comebacks, but also against the mega creeps. And some of the games were kind of done, but we also come back into them. And how did they win this game?
I think we're at 6 mega comebacks now.
I think that was a lot of them, mostly in group stage. I don't think we're going to see many more anymore just because of like the caliber of teams. Right? A lot of those were coming in like, I mean, no offense, it was the lower 2 teams. We saw Newbie, I believe, won 2 of them. There was the Mineski one, which was just complete mayhem. Nowadays, these games are just dominated by these AoE ultis, and if you win one fight, buybacks are gone, the game just ends.
Yeah, I think that out of those 6 that have happened at TI, 5 of those were in groups. So it definitely does show kind of when that's happening. And even out of those 5, we weren't necessarily just talking about the matchups of the teams, the caliber of the teams. It was just, okay, is this TI? Is this some nerves coming into effect here? And that's kind of an idea that we've been coming back to quite a bit as well when we look at this arena that's actually absolutely jam-packed, overwhelmingly cheering, obviously, for the Chinese teams.
Yeah, and I mean, OG, I think they have a little bit of that mentality where they kind of like being underdogs. They like people doubting them, right?
Sure. No doubt.
This idea of fluke TI, right, coming into this year. I was believing that a little bit after TI. I'm not gonna lie, right? They were not looking like themselves afterwards until then Anna comes back, and you're like, okay, yeah, we're good. This guy's incredible. Am I wrong?
Well, after they changed the roster, after they swapped Anna because he needed to take a break, they looked like a completely different team, but they had nothing to prove. They just took it slowly, one game at a time. Then at the end of the season, they showed what they're made of.
Yeah, and it probably helps, right? Because who'd they go through? They had PyCat as well as IALTW, right? And like, just having another teammate, you learn more about probably the other 4 just as much, right? Like, if you're not leaning back on Anna, like, you have someone else, you're learning like, oh, do we need to start carrying games? But you get Anna back, and you're like, nope, he's back, we're good.
Must become stronger. It's the only way to carry without Anna.
Where is he?
Yeah, come back.
And, you know, we keep talking about everybody's road throughout the year. I mean, look at both of these teams. Neither of them had the best possible start that they could have to the year.
They had bad years, straight up.
Who cares?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's really one of those things that it's so strange to really dive into it because it just does seem to defy logic in such a big way that teams can come out and have rough years and they come to TI and they really just look like the best.
That translates through all levels of competition, right? All sorts of sports or esports. It doesn't matter because a lot of them are all going to say the same thing. All that matters is that one big trophy at the end, right?
And I would say every player, like, were you there? I mean, when you went to TI, like, is that how you felt? Like, this is it. Who cares what else happened?
Exactly. That's the mentality that you need to have. Like, you're not thinking, oh, we beat those guys 7 times before we met throughout the season. It doesn't matter at that point. You just want to win this game one at a time.
To really unpack that, though, do you think that it's a different skill set and a different mentality to be a dominant team throughout the year and to be a dominant team, a TI winning team?
I mean, you look at VP multiple years. I hate to just call them out, but I mean, this is probably one of the most dominant seasoned teams we've ever seen in every single TI. Just didn't feel very good for them.
And they ultimately, they end up getting pulled apart like soft bread. That's not going to be the case, though, for these 2 teams. Coming out right now, we got OG, we got the stacks of papers already securely in the booth, and we have the team that has the crowd behind them and a game in their back pocket in LGD. Looking to close this series out nice and early and get that first spot into the grand final. They could rest easy tonight, know that they are showing up to play for that biggest game that you can have in Dota. And now as everybody does start to take the booths, I want to one more time really start to think about how much this game can change compared to what we saw in that first game.
I mean, this game is definitely everything, right? You do not want to go down the lower bracket if you're OG. I mean, you can be like, oh, lower bracket, who cares, whatever, like your Team Liquid or something like that. No. You want to go right to that grand final. You want to watch the rest of the games today, chill back, get some dinner, and start prepping for that grand final.
I have to disagree a little bit here.
You want the lower bracket?
I don't want them to be in the lower bracket, don't get me wrong, but if you look at their faces when they're entering the arena, they're smiling, they're having good fun, having good time with the teammates. I don't think this loss really affects them.
Well, and that's something we've talked about with OG, right? I think that you can have both, though. I think that they're a team that doesn't necessarily get inside of their head, but I think in the same breath, what Trent says, I mean, you're going to pull out all the stops in this game, right? I don't think that you can disrespect the idea of dropping down to that lower bracket right now. It's just too volatile of a situation to be in.
Yeah, it was. And I think that Pango pick kind of threw me off because it hasn't really been doing that well. And they picked it third, I believe. And it was very odd because it messed up a little bit of the lanes because you have a dominant laner, right, in the Nature's Prophet. And all of a sudden you got this Pango and he actually didn't have a game. He had no game.
Sometimes that's also like you need that dominant laner to give you this position 4 here that doesn't work that well on the lane stage. But if there's anyone who knows support Pango well, it's China and it's LGD. I mean, this is something that they ran quite a bit.
It's really hard to bounce back with Pango, who had the 0 CS at 5-6 minute mark. He was 0-0 actually.
Because Nature's Prophet wants to go ganking, and that's when you think your 4 is finally going to get some farm, but he just never did. So I definitely think we'll see more aggressive lanes for sure from OG. Like they want to be in your face. They want to be the ones taking the smoke ganks to you, not like reactively playing.
Okay, so if we do see those more aggressive lanes, how will LGD be forced to respond to cost?
LGD is a team that play their own style. I don't think they're counterpick that much. They're mostly focused on what they want to do. So they're just going to get the strong lanes once again. And I mean, we've seen the comebacks from the laning stage. Even if you lose one of the lanes, it doesn't matter that much. It's more about these Roche team fights where you're going to use a lot of buybacks to try to get the first Roche, then try to snowball, build more advantage from there, and try to end game with the second Roche, Cheese, and Aegis.
Yeah, I think a hero like Tide, right? It's good in lane, and it has one of the best ultimates in the game. Like you might see them thinking about taking that out.
I think it's one of Chalice's best heroes over the past couple months. Maybe we'll see something like that Beastmaster again or something, but I mean, to me, last game, your boy Lacoste, Ame, I mean, there was a lot of pressure on him, I felt like, right? Because he's been given this Feast or Famine style hero on the Ember Spirit, and that guy is the biggest playmaker and also the biggest, not so great playmaker.
He didn't do any Ame stuff besides the good Ame
He did the good Ame, right? Dr. Jekyll,
Good Ame stuff. Now, we're talking about Ame. We're putting him under the microscope a little bit. I want to actually take it a step back. Lacoste, if you were going to look at one head-to-head matchup, one position matchup in this game, when you're watching, who would you pick? What position would you pick?
I think I always pick position 4 because that's the role I like the most, and I think you can easily win the game from position 4. I think Jarex needs a bit more playmaking hero that can rotate, and Jarex is the guy that breaks most of the smokes in-game.
All right, well, speaking of in-game, we're about to hop into it right now. We have all of our players in the booth. Let's see who's going to be able to take it. Is it going to be a quick 2-0? Are we going to go the distance and make it all the way to a Game 3?
PSG.LGD versus OG. Game 2.
Game 1 was looking okay for OG before it slipped away at the end a bit there, gentlemen. Do you feel like they need to make some adjustments with the picks, the bans?
I think the picks were fine. It was just that slight late game, very odd decision making. So
okay.
I think also the Ember kind of letting it through against the heroes like the Zeus, Pango, the Void. These heroes that Root's really good against, Flame Guard's good against. I think it was a little questionable.
Yeah, I mean, 2 teams who expect to stick to their guns regardless of outcomes of any individual game, and very much likely what we're going to see going into game number 2, as some switch-ups will maybe have to happen, because often what's going to happen is a change-up in who has first pick, for example, and some of those bans can be mixed around because of that.
Yeah, so LGD is going to, I think, stick probably to the first phase. Their bans, their idea about the picks, what they wanted to pick there. But since OG is now going to kind of respond to them, right, they're going to maybe pick Jarex, a more playmaking hero, instead of this Pango that's a little more greedy as a 4. I think the LGD second phase is going to be maybe a little more different, maybe a little more reactive to OG. And both teams are going to slightly change up their draft to kind of counter each other.
So I think right now, first pick has a huge advantage because of all these like inbound heroes right now. Enchantress, IO, ET, Tiny, but LG doesn't play IO, so they gotta get rid of it, even if they're first pick. And I'm surprised about the Enchantress because LGD plays a really good Enchantress.
Okay. So Chen, that's No-Tail, one of his, classic supports. It's kind of been banned out, I think, a lot against OG.
Yeah, it really has been.
But they banned the Enchantress and the Wisp. There's like all these other more priority bans, so these like tier 1.5 bans that you're still really scared of are kind of slipped through in this series.
Yeah, and I think so you're saying, Feb, you find it interesting they ban the Enchantress themselves when they have first pick?
Yeah, because it's the hero of the tournament, I think. You first pick it no matter what. LGD plays amazing on it. OG plays it too, but they don't first pick it. So I was thinking like LGD might let it through.
OG, I know OG picks it first because they play it on No-Tail. They're one of the few teams that do a 5 Enchantress. And I think they probably value the Shadow Demon higher than the Enchantress in their draft.
So they're planning on picking the Shadow Demon and don't want to give away the Enchantress.
Yeah,
Instead, OG get Chen. Tiny, you were just talking about the Chen. Tiny we've seen explode over the last day or two.
We might see a Void ban coming out in this phase to try to stop this like Tiny Void from coming out in the mid game. But this Tiny hero I think is getting slightly more understood. Whereas teams, are kind of like actually thinking this guy's going to deal, 10,000 physical damage, 12-second cooldown. We have to think about it.
Yeah. So the panel briefly touched on how they want to see some Jerax on roaming support, such as Earthspirit and Tuskar, and I think we're going to see that, especially with the Chen pickup. And the LGD support right now, we only see one, but it's really weak against roam. So.
Yeah, the Chen allowing you to use that recall essentially to bring in your fourth position Jerax for those ganks.
Yeah, probably Earthspirit or Tuskar, working with that mid Tiny or whatever Thompson is on, because Thompson is usually on a very aggressive hero that can use that roaming support, that +1.
The Shadow Demon's already fairly good against both of the heroes of OG, I think, at least the Tiny especially. And the Sand King I think it used to be a lot more stable in the past. Teams will pick this like offlane Sand King. It almost always was exclusively offlane, but he just kind of goes in his lane. He's gonna get what he needs. He's gonna get this blink, and he's gonna be your blink initiator, right? So now, off the bat, LGD has this blink initiation team fight starter.
Yeah. He's an annoying hero to gank too, because he can be pretty elusive with that Sandstorm Burrow Strike. So if OG are trying to go for this roaming support with Chen, Sand King can make their life a little bit difficult.
Yeah, they also banned the Spectre. They don't want OG to have this like super late game, I think. They're still scared of the way that OG plays around their late game, especially with like this Chen heal and the Tiny late game.
Maybe they're just still traumatized from last TI as well.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
Forget whether Spectre's a good hero now. It's like, are we still a TI8, guys? Ban the Spectre.
Ban the Lifestealer. That's one of the common nerd carries of the patch, I think. It's like the Gyros, the Lifestealers, these type of like, you can either really hard farm, like on the Wraith King Lifestealer, right? That's what we saw Infamous do. They would always go some heavy farmer and farm with it. And there's also the like quicker heroes, right? Like this Gyrocopter. The Lifestealer is really good against both of the heroes of OG. You can infest a Chen creep once you're level 6, instantly kill it. And you also have Feast versus Tiny.
Yeah, I think what OG is trying to do in the second ban phase is try to protect the Tiny, so there's an option of putting him mid. You might see like a OD ban or Ember ban. So they ban Void.
Yeah, Faceless Void does get banned.
I think like Void Tiny is that new wombo combo. Like Phoenix Void, it's a thing in the past. Now it's Tiny Void.
What are the carries that stand out with so many of them now being, well, 3 of them being banned out in this second stage? Where do both the two teams look for that role?
There's still a Gyrocopter for both teams, I think. Probably, I'd maybe lean more towards LGD picking it right now than OG. But a lot of the carries are kind of questionable, I think. Like, you can't pick the PL right now.
Yeah.
The Jug, I think, is weak for both teams. It doesn't do enough damage versus Chen, and then the Purge is really good to kind of kite the Jug and walk away. So the carry pool, I think, is going to be the hardest for both teams to pick.
I think on OG side, AM and Slark is an option too. I haven't seen much Ana AM, but AM is pretty good here.
This Slark is very good, so we could see some Slark kind of playing fast with the Diffusal, going his more standard build.
I think he wants to play some like ninja heroes, assassin type heroes.
Well, they banned AA, so is it just going to be an Alchemist game? Could be what that kind of says to me, at least.
Oh yeah, Alchemist is still open. I can't believe it.
Yeah, we've been talking so much about it. You just expect it to either be picked or banned in the first stage, and OG get it in the second stage now.
Now, OG only picked it once in the group stage, and LGD I think is a team that's comfortable playing against the Alchemist. So like it's gonna be pretty cool to see how they counter it, especially like it being like the third hero pick.
I think their idea with this is they're gonna kind of move the Shadow Demon to a 4. And this Jakiro is gonna be a 5, and the Jakiro and the Shadow Demon have really good lane push in the early game, especially the Jakiro. So the Jakiro is going to try to rotate to this Alchemist's lane, whether he's in the safe lane or the mid lane, and force that lane in. And then the Shadow Demon is now going to be free to walk into the jungle and contest the Alchemist stacks. So I think they're going to try to play fast, try to control OG's jungle. But on the other side, OG's going to have this Chen. He's going to have creeps. There's going to be this early game Tiny if he's a 4. They're going to kind of defend him. So I think there's going to be a lot of these early game brawls on OG's side of the map. They're probably going to pick their off laner here, I think, unless they decide to put the Tiny on 3, but I don't think I've seen a sub Tiny this tournament. So they might try to pick him. I think his Furion was good last game. They heal in the lane. He had a 14-minute Orchid or something. He was top of the net worth for almost the whole game, I think. So that might be one of their choices.
Darkseer. Okay. Haven't seen much of Darkseer, but OG gonna pull it out.
It matches up well with both of their current cores, the Tiny and the Alchemist. They're both cores. Work really well with Surge and Iron Shell. They both want to go in, commit on heroes, especially the Tiny. When you're Iron Shelled and you're Surged in, you combo heroes, stay on them, you keep hitting them. They take so much damage. It also does open up more picks. It opens up this Ember Spirit that they can put on Thompson or Anna on last pick, so I think we might see LGD kind of ban that out in the next phase, or take it if they're scared of it. It is a little scary playing Darkseer versus Shadow Demon though, because you're going to get purged, you're not going to be able to Iron Shell, you're not going to be able to Surge.
I can see, they pick Sven.
Is this the kind of carry just to match the Alchemist's farm, or?
Sven's one of the better carries against Alchemist. They can just like burst him down, even though the Alchemist is very tanky.
Alchemist doesn't have armor for the early game. That's why a lot of the Alcs who are going more this right-click build will go Radiance. If they need a BKB, they'll go BKB, then they'll go AC. And if they don't need a BKB, they'll go Radiance AC. And it's because that hero has like 6 armor at level 15.
He demolishes Chen creeps too. There's a lot of like, when he stands in the front, OG's heroes, they're not going to want to go on the Sven. They want to go on the back lines, the SD Jakiro. So Sven's a very good hero to frontline, and it feels very reliable when a core is able to frontline like that.
It's also good against the Darkseer. You can push the lane back into the Darkseer and kind of counter his Iron Shell in the lane. Usually against Sven or against Darkseer, the carries are going to have this lane pushing into them. They're going to take damage into the tower. You know, they're going to feel a little pressure under it, but with a Sven versus a Darkseer, you have cleave to kill the creeps quickly.
PSG.LGD looking for a last pick for their mid lane. Won't be seeing any kind of a Kunkka, as that's the last ban for OG.
It's a comfort hero for maybe, I think. It tanks them up. It stops this like initiation from OG, this tiny burst, this wall. They can kind of stop it with the boat. Also, he can't go Vessel on Kunkka. There's some of these Kunkkas that'll go this quick Vessel. They'll kind of rotate around, kill this Alchemist. You have the ability, if the Alch is mid, to just shove in the lane with Tidebringer and kind of run into his jungle, push it fast. I think we're going to see an Ember here, so that OG can't pick it.
It is PSG.LGD with first pick coming out of this stage, and it's going to be a Dragon Knight.
Oh, so they did this thing, I think yesterday or like 2 days ago, where they did DK Spectre. So the idea is like those 2 tanky front lines, OG has to choose basically which one to kill. And the other one, it just inputs a lot of damage.
Heroes that Alchemist can definitely not burst down all that quickly, even with this new physical damage build we see coming out often.
He takes towers very fast too, and OG Alchemist, if it's put mid, he's gonna go jungle. Tiny, once DK hits 6, he's gonna get chased out. So yeah, so the fast paced is the name of the game for LGD here.
And OG, last pick, a Spirit Breaker of all heroes, putting the Tiny into a core role.
The Spirit Breaker and Darkseer is a classic combo. You have Search Charge, you're going to go really fast. This early game is going to be really quick from OG besides the Alchemist.
They can control Sven very well to the Spirit Breaker.
Charge through BKB, ult through BKB. You have a lot of these BKB piercing stuns and bashes.
The question is it enough to hold LGD's aggression in the early game? Because I think they have really good tower push with Jakiro and Dragon Knight.
Well, we're going to find out some of those answers in-game, but before we do, we're going to hear from Soksha with Casey on stage.
All right, Sox, tell me about this draft. You had a rough start to the series, and LGD still banning some of your favorite heroes.
Yes. I mean, first series, we got what we wanted. We knew where they were picking, and I think we should have won this game. We have some technical issues as well, it didn't help, but we have to deal with it. For this draft, I think we are really confident again. We knew what they were doing. Now it's all about playing better than them.
And lots of respect between these two teams. You have quite the storied TI history together.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, it's always a pleasure to play LGD on this stage, you know, especially in winner bracket final. So yeah, let's do it.
Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, back to you guys.
All right, game 2 time. As we heard from Soksha, we know what they're going to be doing. Now it's just having to play better. As you see, we do have some OG fans in the building, even if everything you're going to be hearing for most of the game is going to be LGD fans. And we certainly heard them even at the end of that game 1. This time we did hear some boos. It's looking spicy.
Yeah, that was a moment.
They wanted OG to know we like LGD right now. We like the fact they're 1-up in this series. You're not going to get a repeat of last year. But we'll have to see. Do you agree with that? Are they going to be able to get a repeat of last year? I mean, we're looking at a Darkseer Spirit Breaker duo for them.
I hate Darkseer, let me say. As a hero, it won yesterday, by the way. In one game it played, it won. But I remember when we casted the NA quals, this hero, it's hard to enable. You have to farm a lot with it, and the level 1 has become so much weaker than it used to be. I don't know, it just doesn't feel very good. But obviously, you know, Liquid dominated with it.
Yeah.
You have to have a good laning start with this hero, though. I will say, if you can enable this hero in the lane, I think the game will end very quickly.
They made it look really good with the Ember Spear. Do you think that it is going to look just the same with heroes like Tiny, Spirit Breaker, and even this Alchemist? I mean, he does have more options when it comes to the Ion Shell, but are they going to be as effective as ever?
Not really. I will say, though, the one thing for OG is they have this death combo, which I thought was unbeatable. Chen Alk.
Yeah.
I thought that Chen Alk cannot lose a game at this TI. Every time I saw a team give up, it just ended.
Yeah. I think a lot of people had Chen as their most banned, right? Because that hero was being shown to be so dominant.
It's just silly.
Right before TI.
The core concept of the hero now is to try to find as many of the magic resistance creeps as you possibly can.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that's what our creator intended. Ice Frog was like, is this really how you guys want to do this? And they're like, yes, this is the best way to play it. And look at all the magic damage on the side of PSG.LGD.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so good.
Sand King, Jakiro, Shadow Demon. Those 3 heroes lay out a lot of magic damage. So for PSG.LGD, their damage is going to have to come out from the Dragon Knight and their Sven. It's going to have to come out in heaps and loads because they just won't be able to blind that magic.
Batting Rune fight is so
Bottom
important.
right, they are going to be able to get Ame pushed back. They'll secure the bottom 2. Even as X-Nova tries to stack up some Shadow Poisons onto Jarex. Doesn't get the 4th stack, though. That's where the real money starts coming in. That 4th and 5th stack.
Does do decent damage. I will say about Darkseer, his overall weakness comes from the fact that he doesn't pressure the safe laner anymore. Like, Ame should just free farm. Like, every safe laner says, when I see Darkseer on the other side, that's free farm.
Yeah. You're going to get almost all the last hits because the animation, the attack animation of a Darkseer is pretty bad. You should be able to get a lot of denies because Ion Shell, especially level 1, is pretty easy to read. And we'll see how OG is going to find a way to be able to break that opportunity for Ame. And their idea is with the Spirit Breaker, he's going to be pulling around. We're going to see No-Tail here. Maybe Die here is challenged. Just keeps on staying on top of him with the Caustic Finale.
He did not expect this level 1 Caustic.
Laying out some taunts, but the dual breath is going to slow him down, and he's going to die underneath the tower.
First kill of the game goes to PSG.LGD.
But at least it's not that first blood. We are going to charge in from Jarex. He's collected a nice big wave. Now Seb's going to try and pop it. That's why Ame and X-Nova They're going to try and chase him away from this wave, maybe even kill him here as Sapphire is going to show up, and sure enough. You can stack the waves all you want, but they're not going to let them Ion Shell clear.
This is what you want to do against the Darkseer, this tri-lane. Push him out so that he can't just skip the creep wave, make it really hard for him to push the lane into you and then pull the side wave.
Cute little play by Thompson. He actually tossed Somnus away from the creeps so he could get a deny in. Little stuff like that is what makes these two mid laners so unique. Maybe he's been one of the most dominant ones of the last few years for China, while Thompson, the newcomer to the scene, managing to win his very first TI. Some of his rather unique play bottom lane set. This Ion Shell will start getting some of the CS, but you can see Ame has already racked up 6 denies.
Yeah, Seb right now only has 5 last hits. It feels like he's gotten a lot because he's been on the creep wave for so long, but it's really when you hit level 3 and you get that level 2 Ion Shell that this hero starts to come back online. How do you feel about Darkseer as an off-lane player? It's not a hero that you've been playing for a while, right?
Well, for me, it's like I just look at Sand King, and I feel like in a lot of ways, Sand King's the same hero, just a little bit better. You know, in the fact that you have the same concepts with Sandstorm, of just kind of sitting in the lane. But it's a lot harder to stay out of Sandstorm than it is to be able to work around level 1 Ion Shell, especially.
And that's why they're going to tri-lane against Seb, make it hard for him to get farm and space. We talked about how if this Darkseer doesn't have a good lane, this might just be a short one for OG.
Yeah, and how do you push back Chalice? You have to just drop so many sentries while simultaneously he can fight you underneath the Sand King as well, which is usually an advantage that Alchemist has over the off-laner. He drops the acid spray and just man fights you if you choose to try and harass him out. Because the armor difference is going to be too big.
Top Chalice. Just going to walk into this creep wave, contest this pull, get a lot of these last hits in fact, and he might even go for the next wave, cut it again. I think you're just going to allow this Alch to farm, but there's not a lot of choice in the matter.
Yeah, they know that, especially with the Chen, a dual lane's just not going to do enough to shut down this Alchemist. So Chalice can work on trying to get that extra farm. Maybe he pulls it into the hard camp, maybe he just farms it up by itself.
I think he's waiting for the small camp to respawn.
Yeah. Toss up, trying to get that bounty rune. Or power rune rather, but it is a double damage for Jarek's at bottom lane. Vanna's going to do the same. He's going to pull the creeps into the hard camp, even pop the glyph to help him bring it down a little bit faster. Chalice with the Burrow Strike is going to try and take some of that CS, but Anna, especially with the skeleton spawn and everything else, thanks to Greevil's Greed, he got a lot of gold off of that. Our mid lane matchup, how's that supposed to go, by the way? Tiny versus DK.
I'd imagine that both do okay because Tiny has your tree grab, which I think is so strong in laning, it's almost impossible to deny it.
Yeah.
But melee versus melee, I believe maybe just wins because he can out-regen you. And Breathe Fire is so effective against attack-based CSers.
You could see maybe really pushing that advantage he has off the regen as he continues to tag Thompson even underneath the tower, just knowing he doesn't have to care too much. Bounty Rune's going to spawn. Zep does manage to get one of them at the bottom, so we're going to have a 2-2 split.
Not bad at all for Alex, but Chalice is going to get this big wave. He wants to try to connect it to this camp.
They're both going to connect it to the same camp, so Acid Spray versus Sand.
These are dying so fast.
Who's going to get the last hit on the neutrals? It looks like Anna actually walked away with a fair bit. X-Nova's going to show up for the first time here in a long time at top lane, trying to catch No-Tail. The act of pulling.
Yeah, it looks like everybody's just having a good time. It's one of those weird stalemates where all the cores are sort of happy.
Yeah.
Maybe with the exception of Thompson in mid lane, but even his CS is not, you can work around that. And they do spot the rotation down from bottom. And this is something that Thompson does so well, and it's very unique to his playstyle, is how early and how often he's going to invade that jungle area. He doesn't want to just go into the bottom lane and pressure your tower. He wants to kill you while you farm.
And that's why PSG.LGD choose this DK, not just because he can beat the Tiny in lane, but because it's a hero that can pressure the mid tower whenever Thompson does try and go for those rotations. Bottom lane, they do manage to kill FY with the Ion Shell combo. Jarek's stun comes out and they will trade supports.
Seb is getting a lot out of this lane. As much of a free time as Ame has had, so is Seb. They don't really have a way to kill him easily. No real hard stun aside from Ame. There's no real follow-up to that. But he's out of mana right now, and this should be a death. Yeah, a little bit too greedy.
Even if he did have the mana for Surge, X-Nova made sure to be there. So he could have disrupted. Especially those early levels of Surge. It is level 3, actually.
And there's already a Veil picked up by Sand King. Chalice's timing is going to be real quick.
And now he's going to be left alone in lane as Anna, with Chemical Rage and Acid Spray, is going to start trying to deal with the stacks that have been laid out to him.
Those are real nice stacks. And the timing that we're looking for on this Alchemist is anything before 12 minutes, Anna will be happy about.
With this big of stacks, I imagine he's going to get there. As he's got pretty lucky on that medium stack as well with Wolves and Satyrs. You always love to see Satyrs when it comes to an Alchemist.
It's the perfect as well, like Satyr plus like the Mud Golems.
Oh yeah.
That'd be like the ideal situation.
They're going to try and kill No Tail top lane. They really have to. Drop the Veil. They do have the Epicenter if they want to try and go for it, but instead Chalice just goes for the body blocks, and it looks like the Sandstorm. He's dead.
That is so much damage.
Yeah.
Veil, 4 levels of the Sandstorm. You're not escaping that.
And they need to be able to kill him because while the Alchemist is gone, they need to punish the fact that there's no core in this lane. Take this tower.
You got to pressure all the towers right now. If you're PSG.LGD, you need to force the Alchemist to leave the jungle, pressure his lane, make it hard for him.
Because OG's already ahead of you in that timing as Seb and Jerix managed to take that bottom lane. Charge in on X-Nova. They are going to be able to get the double Ion Shell on top. X-Nova's going to disrupt one of them, especially with the match from Jerix. It is impossible for the Shadow Demon to get away from that. He should know about the ward now, but honestly, it's lasted for most of his lifetime, so... OG will have gotten the full use out of it. They even have a sentry laid right next to the Observer ward that was placed out by X-Nova in the last 2 minutes. They just don't know it's there yet.
You see this Sven, by the way? He's gotten the Midas.
Yep.
He wants to keep up with the timing of the Alchemist, who is rapidly approaching his own timing.
That's why it's so important for Chalice to try and get these invasions, but he's been spotted in more ways than one. He does have that charge onto him that was there, but they actually managed to get the stun. Chalice trying to get away. One forward strike isn't good enough. Body blocks from Seb. Disruption out. Now with Somnus here. It's hard for OG to take this fight any longer, at least that chase. They're still going to try and defend their tier 1. That'll buy Anna more time in top lane.
Jarek's trying to pull the creep wave away, and he's going to charge out, but he's going to run into Ame, who's already pre-pepped his ulti.
He does manage to get him with the charge bash, and as a result, Ame is going to miss out on the kills. The ice pack just falls a bit shot. 5-2. This is about the time the teams are planning their rotations to secure bounty runes. Let's see what OG does to try and secure at least 2 for this Alchemist. How LGD opt to try and defeat that. We're going to Shrine up. PSG.LGD can go ahead and invade on this right side, but you can see No Tail's brought Thompson up here. And they might just be able to get 3 as a result. They chain stun on it, Chalice with toss up in the air. They pick up that boundary rune, but now the epicenter. It could be No Tail in trouble, especially with that Veil. It's so much magic damage. The support does die, but for OG, they call it space and gold for Anna.
Radiance now is flying out. We talked about the 12 before 12 minutes. 10 is incredibly respectable.
Yeah.
With 500 gold, this is still a very good timing for OG to hit.
PSG.LGD have not just been able to invade the jungle that often.
Because they want to take mid tower first.
And we've seen Somnus try and take this mid tower, but every single time OG had formed a strong defense with the Radiance up. Maybe Anna, he thinks he's strong with the Chemical Rage going out, but the Ice Path is going to be good enough to protect him. As now Somnus being run down. What a stun! As Ame pops out of the jungle and hits 3, but still Somnus being chased down by the Zion.
Anna's way too strong right now.
Falling over everybody. The Unstable Concoction spotting FY for a moment. FY trying to hide. The Unstable Concoction does explode on the Alchemist. So FY will force them to chase a little bit farther, but eventually he will die. What a big win for OG. As you said, that timing was all important.
He's so strong. They can't fight into him. And he also, there's a trick where if you spam toggle off the Radiance while your Shadow Demon disrupted, you won't pop out with it.
Did Anna manage to do that?
Yeah. that actually limits the effectiveness of the SD against the Alchemist so much. I'm not sure if they fixed it. Last me and Gunnar tested, it didn't.
Yeah, you're saying basically you don't have to do it before you get disrupted. You're saying you can actually take it off right as you come out of the disruption.
See the replay right here. And it looked like a really good stun, but they had already used their follow-up disable just to try to stop OG from coming in. And they have to take this mid tower. If PSG.LGD are going to win this game, you got to take this mid tower. Otherwise, you will not be able to place the ward that you want to place. And that's why Anna's going to come in again.
They just keep on going for it, but finally the tower does fall. They don't actually lose into a deny. But still, I mean, Somnus has been working on that for the last 7 minutes. I remember that first rotation coming out from Thompson, and he immediately popped his Dragon Form.
And he's been whittling that one down.
So what is that? You're like, we're saying they weren't invading the jungle, trying to shut down the Alchemist because they wanted that mid tower. Now that the tower is dead, what does that afford PSG.LGD?
I think if you're PSG.LGD, you can now force a lot of aggressive vision in this jungle area, and then you can start making smoke rates into the triangle.
Yeah.
I think that's the play that you want to go for.
Because Anna, in turn, knows that his jungle is probably going to be warded and invaded. So he's going to be playing in the enemy jungle, but won't be able to do the same kind of aggressive pushes because the Radiant mid tower is still alive.
Yeah, they're not out of the woods yet. OG is in a very good position. So I think this Alk is probably the strongest hero in the game. He's about to pick up his BKB, and then you're going to have an Ion Shell surged up Alchemist that comes equipped with the BKB.
This has been OG's signature style for a full year now, is their ability to be able to use certain mechanics and synergies between heroes to buff one hero up to just a monster degree. They did it oftentimes with the damage reduction of last year with the Spectre. Now it's going to be this Alchemist Radiance plus the Ion Shell plus the Surge plus the fact you've got Chen Divine Favor on your side with the Chemical Rage.
Oh, you listed so many things.
There's a lot of sick synergies for the OG side. They need to be able to get kills in order to get towers, and they're going to start by killing FY in the mid lane. Chalice is going to TP in, trying to return fire. Pops the Veil, the charge coming in, and Chalice, he needs to be careful here. They do have X-Nova, who's going to be able to disrupt up the sand.
BKB's been used.
Up in the BKB, they haven't got strength on Anna, but he just doesn't do enough. Anna, he's a monster right now, and he is pulling down every single member of PSG.LGD into the grave, and now he's going to chase down Ame. Gets him with the unstable concoction. Ame can't get out. He's dead. The only members of PSG.LGD that can survive, the ones that made their way behind the tier 2 tower nice and early, both X-Nova and maybe Slash Somnus realized that OG's just too big already.
You saw the Sven run in. Ame pops his God Strength, thought he was the strongest hero in the game. Anna said, no, that is not close to true. With this BKB and the Surge.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Blitz, but this looks like PSG.LGD misread the timings entirely. The first time that they fought Anna, where Ame came out of the jungle, hits a 3-man stun, they still couldn't win that fight. Now they try it again.
Yeah, I'm not sure why they thought an Echo Saber would be the game changer.
Yeah.
He's got a BKB.
Yeah.
And this is a really quick Roshan. And Chen Alk is proving to be so strong. The Divine Favor, amplifying all your regen by 12% on a hero like Alchemist.
It's absurd. Absolutely absurd. This is why this combo has not been given away in many games. 6-9, 8,000 net worth lead for OG.
I've personally seen it in the games that we've casted 3 times.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, all 3 times the Alk Chen combo won.
That's an hot stat for you right there.
I'm sure Alan could tell me better.
Chalice, he's trying to deal with that regeneration factor. He does have a Spirit Vessel, but Blitz, in order to use Spirit Vessel effectively, first you have to get kills. And PSG.LGD, they haven't found one in a while. They've been struggling to get charges for Chalice.
Even if he has it though, I don't know how much that makes a difference. If he opens it up in the fight, the BKB's popped by the Alk, he just runs in anyways, doesn't really seem to care very much.
Yeah, it would have to be in some sort of chain stunning opportunity.
Yeah, what they really need is this DK to deal damage. Maybe his build is so greedy, going for the Hand of Midas when your Sven already has one. He has no way to initiate fights. He can't get to the back line. He doesn't really deal enough damage, so they can just ignore him. You know, he hits for 103 like a wet noodle, like Grant would say. Breathe fires pretty good, but they have so much regen that it all gets negated by the Chen. Maybe he just needs to farm.
Add in another 50 damage for Anna's Alchemist, and now he's going to be even more affected in bringing down towers, but they have been split up a little bit. They're going to try and go for the bottom lane. They quickly execute X-Nova. And trying to catch Somnus as well, cutting through the trees, but Jerix will make sure he cannot escape. The Ice Path buys Somnus a little bit more time. The TP coming in from Chalice as well. Can he get there in time? There's going to be the double Ion Shell burning away Somnus. The double Bracers just isn't enough protection.
Thompson wants more. Doesn't have a toss-up for 2 more seconds. Chalice gonna give up on this top lane.
He knows he's got to be careful here because now Hannah is going to come down from that high ground. And they've already used most of their TPs. They're going to be able to bring in somebody with no tail. They're going to heal up immediately. Ame's going to be able to cut his way.
The charge is coming across the map.
Actually fine. Thompson has Blink Dagger up in a second. Can they actually chase down Ame, or is it going to be X-Nova, whose life is going to be forfeited instead? In fact, Jerix is probably going to die here as he's charged in a bit too deep. The Avalanche, Unstable Concoction. They don't go for the Spores. They go for the cores. They're still trying to finish up Ame here with the BKB activated by Anna. No tail going down underneath the sandstorm, but it's
they're timing tier 3s.
Die. Anna doesn't care about tier 3s. He doesn't care about the tier 4s even. He's willing to die. But the TP coming in from maybe Somnus. He's going to try and get the kill onto Thompson. He is ticking out bit by bit. He has the Spirit Vessel, but he is actually going to live. The Spirit Poison is going to be enough. It seems now challenged. Run down by Anna. Anna is very low, but he still has that Aegis. So Somnus, he commits heavily to be able to finish him off. But now he's stuck. Now he's trapped.
He's actually stuck.
It's blocking him in, and now he's going to get...
Oh, no!
Somnus thought he could get out again, but Thompson will deliver the finishing blow with Alphaset for the triple kill.
He walks in, his own illusion fights against him.
PSG.LGD, there is no other way to say it. They are read this game wrong.
Yeah, they completely misread their strength. They misjudged. The fact that OG can dive into tier 3s at 18 minutes into the game. The knockback from Jerax, who continues to be unafraid, slowly charging forward. And they're just going to die.
He is going to wear out, but Anna is going to be able to get the counter kill onto the Shadow Demon. But now Anna has heavily extended himself, and he does have that BKB, but if he's chained does so much magic damage, he may actually fall here. The Couple Rage plus the BKB. Where's the physical damage?
He's going to get surged out.
He's not be surging away. Now he's going to turn.
He's going to re-engage.
He's going to turn. What a madman. He turns around and kills Chalice. Ame, they were all stunned up underneath the Ice Path. Another round of the Stormhammer. Chemical Rage has worn out, but it's surged away once again.
Maybe is back, but still the lack of farm. You haven't felt this Dragon Knight's impact at all. He does have more CS by like 30 on this Tiny, but you're feeling Thompson's presence in the game. 5-0 and 8. Conversely, maybe with possibly the worst showing of the tournament that he's had, 0-3 and 0.
Yeah.
I have not noticed this DK in this game.
This is not the superstar that PSG.LGD has built this squad around this performance by him. And you know, it's not just on him, right? It's got to be his team as a whole misreading how they were going to be able to play out this game, how they were going to be able to shut down the Alchemist.
Both sides vying for
they
control
want to be
here.
able to fight for the bounty runes. Thompson, ready to go. He's going to wait out the Ice Path, and he can blink forward, toss back on us on this, or he can look for more. And he's going to look for more, and sure, he's going to grab Jared.
Finds both of them, and the double charge.
Into the charge, into the vacuum with the wall. What a sick combo from OG is now. They look to be able to run down even more heroes. X-Nova. Unstable Concoction will actually stun himself, but X-Nova's just playing a game to ring around the Rosie. But it has a deadly finish for X-Nova. It's now 9-20. OG marching high ground in 20 minutes again.
They have to deal with Chalice, who sits in the sandstorm, is going to back out the charge. Probably not going to complete it.
Okay, takes a few shots from the fountain, no big deal. Dances it off.
And they're going to take Rax 20 minutes in. LGD cannot contest him at this point. Ame has finally realized what the situation is, and it is dire. He's going to try to get his BKB just so he can fight, but it's really the damage that they lack right now.
where's that damage going to come in? They finally finished at the BKB, but I'm not sure if that's much of a game changer for PSG.LGD. Even if Somnus had his, that's not going to give you the damage you just blatantly need against this Alchemist, who now has an AC and is soon going to have a heart.
Oh, he's got a heart. I thought he just completed the AC. Yeah, it's 20 minutes in.
That's play to win. 22,000 net worth, 17,000 lead for OG. And you can make as many arguments you want about an Alchemist and how he's supposed to be ahead, but no way he's supposed to be this far ahead.
Yeah, 17K. Normally when we say that, we mean like 5, 6. That's okay. 17. You are behind.
Chain stun. They're going to be able to get 2 different stuns, but Somnus holds on to his Thompson makes his entrance and vacuum back. He's going to be another with the double damage from Thompson, and Anna dealing so much damage as well. Tier 2 to fall, and a Tier 3 surely to follow as PSG.LGD, they just lack the strength to be able to deal with this any longer. Thompson's going to be able to get his entrance into X-Nova. Follow up on it, Chalice, as Jarek's managed to get the Nether Strike onto him. Chalice burrow strikes away.
And they're just going to call it.
GG.
Sven picked up his BKB, not even going to bother at this point. He understands how this game has been done in.
I mean, Anna couldn't have said it better, right? With his chat wheel as they
look at that.
Seven, the disrespect. I'm sorry, crowd. Where are you at?
Excuse me?
Where are you at? I don't hear you. Oh.
It almost feels like the crowd's giving them a little bit extra motivation.
Oh, yeah.
You see No-Tail, he says, I want all the smoke.
Oh, gee. Don't give them a reason to play against you like that. They already showed it once. Not once, but twice against EG. When they've got some vendettas on the line, OG shows up to play, and boy, did they in this game 2. Absolutely perfect, as OD and Anna said in that game. What a victory for OG. 1-1 now.
Yeah, you notice no booze this time. The crowd knows. They're like, oh no.
Hey, you gotta give it up. You gotta give it up to good performance. You can't poke the bear any longer. OG tie the series.
We keep talking about the crowd strats. Definitely do think it's important, but I also think one of the really important things is going to be coming prepared with your own strats. And I think no matter how many pieces of paper you bring out, I think a lot of them are going to have ALK written all over them, Lacoste.
Yeah, let me just check my notes real quickly. Yeah, that's it. Ban ALK.
Oh.
It's a good one.
It's really hard to play against Alchemist when you give him a free farm at the start. He had a 10-minute Radiance. They didn't address his farm. Also, Dragonite on the mid lane is going for Hand of Midas. It's a good build if you can sustain. But with this kind of alignment, Spirit Breaker, ALK, and Darkseer, they're going to run it. And this is one of the better combos that I've seen besides the Tiny and the Faceless Void. You give Iron Shell to the Radiance carrier, to ALK plus the speed. He just runs in. Once he gets that BKB as well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I have that on my notes as well. I just ban ALK. I think that this has been something that's definitely a theme, Grant, throughout the tournament.
Yeah. It's Alchemist, and the thing was, it wasn't even a first phase Alchemist. They had plenty of times to ban it. It was their 3rd pick. We saw the Chen. I was really surprised. When you first picked Chen, I was like, oh, Alk's just going to get banned in the 2nd phase.
Yeah.
And you let it through, and it looked like they had a decent counter because they did okay in the other lanes. Obviously, the ALK was free farming, but I mean, the Sand King was free farming too. Obviously, ALK accelerates more, but eventually, you're just going to get run over. It's a Spirit Breaker freaking Darkseer.
And it felt like it got to a point too where that one fight in the river, where the Shadow Demon wasn't level 6. I thought they had that fight, and then I look at X-No, I'm like, oh, he doesn't have Purge. And so without that Purge, the Iron Shell's coming. He got out of the Ice Path with the ulti there from the Alchemist right after, and he just ran them down. I think that's like such a crucial fight. It's hard to like bring a whole game down to such a moment like that, but that's one of those times you just really need to cut that momentum.
Exactly, and the Alchemist lineup will punish you with those small mistakes. It's so easy to snowball with it. Like, you have a tower hitter on top of it, you have a Chen who amplifies the heal, even with his ulti, and Chalice was trying to get a Spirit Vessel, but even if you get a Spirit Vessel, he's still gonna have a BKB plus 1/2 more items at the time.
Yeah. And I mean, one of the Alchemists, right? It's always like these Sven, these Alks, and these life stores, mobility, and you just have a surge behind you 24/7. It's crazy. You can always get in and out of fights whenever you want.
And I do want to kind of go back to that first game, right? In the first game, we say that it's a very skirmish style of Dota. When we get to the second game, it's going to be a different story.
Yeah, it was just in your face. Like we said, OG's the team that lost. They're the teams who has to swap it up, and they definitely did. They were just from 10 minutes onward, they were always chasing down a hero. They were never just farming.
And we had cooldowns as an issue last game, right? We have like Faceless Void, we have Tide Hunter. This game, just nothing. Now, the only cooldown you have to worry about is like Alchemist Ultimate.
Yeah, charge. Oh no, 10 seconds, hurry.
Now, when we look forward to the third game, I do kind of want to, for anybody tuning in right now, to see the winners final, to get a look at who that first team in the grand final is going to be. Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. Also, I do kind of want to say right now, like, what is the style of these teams for anyone who maybe didn't even watch last year, because this is a rematch from the same point last year. What makes these teams so strong?
I guess I would just kind of go back to this idea of like OG's built around, it feels like breaking the game. Like they like to do damage resistance stacking. They like to introduce new heroes as cores that weren't supposed to be cores, or sometimes new heroes as supports that maybe weren't supports. Yeah, they're trying to pick something that you're not ready for and to try and catch you off guard with it. Whereas LGD, no mystery, right? I feel like they're just extremely good. They're clinical. They're calculated. They're playing very good Dota. So you have this battle of like, are you going to get caught by surprise, or are LGD just going to play their game and take it?
Secret didn't look that convincing at the winner's bracket and the part of the loser's bracket as well, but they kind of copied what OG is doing. Like, they took the carry IO and they managed to throw out Luigi Gaming in a series 2-0, 20, 25-minute games, and it feels like this is the style that you need to play. Like, if enemy team picks more late-game oriented heroes, you just punish it or play around the big ulti cooldowns, which right now OG didn't have any, so they just run at you.
Yeah, eventually you start to see that some of these things that, yes, they may catch you off guard, they might be a surprise, but when it's actually iterated upon, Grant, it's something that is strong as well, and we might even see become pages that are added into the textbook. I think the IO was something that surprised everybody pretty much instantly, and now people are actually talking about whether or not it should be banned and in what scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it right here on page 7091, and this Wisp, I'm surprised it's not seeing more play, but I think it's going to keep out permanently banned from this. You can't let OG have it ever. I think it's always going to be IO Mag banned versus OG every single game, grand finals, losers bracket. Now they're never getting those two heroes.
Yeah, it is very interesting, though, like you said, to see the team start to adapt to that very quickly, but we have that fire and ice situation. We have a team that we expect to play that textbook Dota, and the other team that's going to throw all the pages up in the air and make their own book. And if that book was something that worked the last time, what worked in TI8 will work here in TI9. And I think already in this series, though, from both of these teams, we see how much flexibility that they really do have, because we can see two completely different games of Dota within the same series. This third game going to decide who goes to the grand final.
Yeah, sure. It's TI. It's the last 2 days. You have to be flexible. You have to have all kinds of styles and strategies ready to go. And hopefully you still have something left. But if you've made it this far in TI and you still have a strategy kind of left out there that you really believe in,
this is it.
You're like unbelievable at Dota if you've managed to get this far without pulling out said trick. So
what if you don't even get your best strat out? And
that would be impressive.
Like, we had so many strats prepared that I didn't want to even use them.
Maybe Liquid, right? They had the 3-0 in the final. They're probably like the only one where you can be like, okay, yeah, maybe they did have something else left there just in case.
You got to pull it out eventually. If you don't use it, you lose it, right? Yep. So I definitely do think that that's something that you have to think about. But at this point, we think most of the cats are out of the bag. The thing is that we can actually use to look a little bit deeper is to actually see what the teams had to say before TI even started. Dove had a chance to sit down with LGD.
那去年的 DPC 排行榜老干爹是排在了第6，你们对于去年一整年自己的发挥和这个成绩还满意吗？
就我个人而言的话，对自己一整年的发挥都不满意吧。然后整个队伍的状态就是可能因为一些之前的影响，就肯定是整体来说都不太好嘛。
感觉每个比赛就都没有发挥好吧，打得不是很好。今年一整年都就一般吧打的。
那其实感觉这一整年很多选手都有比较大的进步，那你们是否觉得在 TI8 之后，心态上面有没有一些什么进步？
心态肯定进步的呀。
这一整年其实挺难熬的，对吧？那有没有一些比较开心的瞬间？
要说的话，应该是 VG 夺冠的瞬间吧。我们是 VG 老粉，
我是 V 坤，
是 VG 夺冠，我们很开心。
替 VG 开心。虽然去年一整年都很难熬， 最难熬的时候是什么时候？
有一段时间 maybe 就逃了，然后回去结婚了，我们非常非常难熬。
就是在队伍人员不整齐的时候，就会觉得稍微有点难熬一点。但其实那个 Major 你们打的成绩还可以的。
是这样的，但当时就感觉还蛮有希望夺冠的。
查理斯一直在点头。你怎么看那段时间？
那最后一扩手就是我，别说了。
主动背锅是不是？那问一下，去年有哪个人的哪句话让你至今还记得？
就是开始选人了，搬完了，准备1、2手选人了，他突然问了一句 ：“FY， 这把炸不炸？”就转头站，这把炸不炸？那会儿就。
那其实老干爹虽然说拿了第6名，但是前面的5支队伍都是很强的队伍，你们是否还觉得自己依然是一支很强的队伍
？VG 最强嘛 ，VG 跟那个秘密独一档，我们就靠后。
我们在采访 VG 的时候，他们说跟老干爹打训练赛河道都过不去。
他们乱说了，我们
一看就是造谣。
就我们一过河道就被他们5个人冲出来乱杀，我们就是训练被他们打个什么10比0这种很正常。
就我们的训练就是被 LGK 操盘，就是都在他掌控下，他想让我们输就让我们输，想让我们赢就让我们赢。就我们出发前 LGK 都特意来说了一句：“你们要谢谢我抬了你们一手，就没把你们打得很惨。”
事实上就是我们根本没怎么赢过他们，
真的很恐怖。
现在看到他们，我们都在发抖。
那再次来到 TI， 2个人是抱着什么样的心态过来的？
肯定是抱了一点积极一点的心态嘛，就不能说想着什么复仇这种，就是你要复仇，你要向谁复仇嘛？还只能向 OG 啊。但是 OG 呢，怎么说呢
？OG 当然也很强
啊，对 ，OG 当然也很强。反正就不能抱着这种心态，肯定要抱着一点正面一点的心态，就抱着这种负面的心态打比赛不太好。
我们在来之前看过一段 FY 的采访，他说他自己的心理预期是，只要不拿第2名、第1名，其他任何几名都可以。你们怎么去看待？你的心理预期是什么？
没有什么预期吧，因为你有些队伍训练不到，然后你对那几个队伍评估也不太确定。认真来说的话，你也预期不了，但肯定就是越往上越好嘛，就排名越靠前越好，肯定是想着去往冠军那边靠嘛。
那这次 TI 在中国不同于以往。除了好好打比赛，你们有没有一定要做的事情？没
有吧，打起来肯定就专心一点吧。
好，那我们也希望老干爹能够打好自己的，好吗？谢谢。
谢谢。
Even before TI started, there was only one team that they were thinking about. It's OG. It's very fitting that we've managed to make it all the way to this 3rd game. I think that that's one of the things that, Lacoste even said when we were on the last panel. You were like, I just want to see this go all the way to the 3rd game. Now we're here. What do you want to see?
I want to see game not ending so quickly. I'm a big fan of the late game. I want to see those Aghanim Scepter coming out, Moon Shards, late game Dota is pretty chaotic. In the game yesterday where Tiny uses toss back to toss them onto the spark rates, or 2 days before.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep much, so my schedule is kind of confusing.
It's the excitement. It's that you never know what's going to happen of late game Dota. It's where the ultimate stress hits, right? When you're snowballing a game sometimes, those are the easiest games to just be kind of laughing away. Yep. You're like, oh, got him again. And you're like, oh, they can't kill me, guys. I'm just in between the tier 3 and the tier 2. Like, that happens a lot. But when it gets to late game, it's really hard, I think, to keep those smiles up, which is something that obviously OG have done so well in the past. But you get this point where it's just like, okay, all right, we got Chrono up, yeah. Everyone, it gets quieter, I feel like, so I want to see that too.
I think I just don't know if these teams will do. I think we could make it to the late game, but I don't think we're going to see like this chaos late game, right? I think the teams are too good.
Nah, I want to see the chaos.
I mean, I want to, but I don't
think they went out first.
Yeah.
So
the decision making when the game gets kind of confusing, even for the pro players, like what is happening? This 3 volley from Tiny on a 12-second cooldown. How do you counter that? Like you get Quelling Blades, cut down all the trees.
So that's why you want late game. You're trying to figure out how to deal with a Tiny Aghanim Scepter. That's a good question because no one knows the answer. That's another great reason to see. Okay, cut down the trees?
No,
we're trying, buddy.
Get the cooldown to 60 seconds.
So I do
nerf it.
Okay.
Okay. There we go, Lacoste. I do want to say, kind of, when we look at the past matchups as well, are there any pressure points? We talked about definitely wanting to look at our 4s when we actually go to head-to-head matchups where we could potentially see some of the most impactful play come out on the individual level. But Grant, do you think that there's any player right now that you want to see step up?
I think Chalice, honestly. I think that they're just banning his Ogre first phase every time, and he's got to prove that it's not just like this Ogre Centaur, right? We saw Sand King, which played pretty well. You know, he was stealing a lot of creeps. He was using a lot of mana to steal creeps as well from the Alchemist, which hurt him, and I think he is their big playmaker, right? He went Veil, Spirit Vessel, Sand King, and then he didn't even have charges on it. Like, it just felt like he needs to be way more impactful on the map.
Okay, we're going to keep that in our mind as our teams take this stage. Right now, the crowd favorite coming out, and you can definitely hear the crowd's going to be giving them their energy throughout the entirety of this matchup. This third game going to decide everything in the rematch from last year. The winner of this going to be going to the grand final. Coming in with that.
Carried by their coach.
Yeah.
Exactly. We will have to see what they have in store as well. We talk about just how different this game could be from the last one. I'm trying to see if we can get a glance of all of the papers actually inside of that booth right now.
Doesn't look.
What do you think it's written besides the?
Well, considering
obvious stuff
there's
from
some
Dota.
little, there's the papers right there. That was it. Those are the real papers.
They finally
Mind games confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, just drafts, right? I think most teams just got drafts. Like, if they draft this, I know when I talk to a few coaches, it's literally, you know, we have these papers, and it's if they draft this, they ban this, we'll pick this, they'll pick that kind of thing. It's just a bunch. You just go down a checklist almost.
It's like a tree. It's like a decision tree, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're just kind of answering different things when they happen, so you don't get caught up in the moment when you're up on the main stage surrounded by tens of thousands of people.
You don't want to just have this last pick, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness, what is good? What do we pick? You always want to have at least something in the back of your mind.
We're very fortunate with all the resources we have too, right? I mean, we just have scrapbooks of drafts. It's so easy to just like open up a web page and they're just all there.
Anyone
and
at home.
You see the teams using the same tools that we use, right?
Yep.
Like they're just printing off pages.
They read it better. Like they know what they're looking for. And by the way, Nahaz told me it was the 4th fastest ever timing on the Radiance.
Ever,
yes.
That helps.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a fast, but not that
I mean,
fast.
that's not podium level. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I mean,
it was interesting because I thought I was watching the game, and I'm just like, the Sand King's actually stealing a lot of his neutrals. He's Sandstorm, like he's getting a ton of gold, and then Alex still just going super far. He could have had an even quicker one because I thought the Sand King did okay in the first 5 minutes.
Not even in top 3, huh?
Yeah.
So we're setting some records here already when we're looking at that. We've set a lot of records at this TI. We really have. We see the highest placement of an entire region, and now we look at this matchup, and already there's a 75% chance. Nahaz is probably going to yell at me for this, but Wick tweeted it out this way, so I might get out of Dodge. A 75% chance that we see a 2-time champ. I know that's not. I see Nahaz shaking.
No, that's how math works. I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Shaking his head right now.
Every match is just a coin flip, so it's okay.
Yeah, right. I think even if that was the case, that would still be incorrect, right? Yeah, Nahaz is actually, I've never seen Nahaz smile. That dude loves numbers. He absolutely loves his stats. He's sitting there like a jolly guy just laughing at my numbers. But ultimately, we are in a position where we still do have so many potential 2-time champions this time around. And when we look at the side of OG, obviously, how crazy would it be if not only we have the first time that somebody's been able to win not 1 but 2 TIs, be a back-to-back champion? Well, let's see if they are going to be able to make that giant leap. Will they be able to get the best seats in the house? Will they be able to go straight to the grand final?
PSG.LGD versus OG. Game 3.
Game 3, the magic number when you're playing on the TI main stage, at least for us, the viewers. Maybe the teams would prefer 2-0, but luckily they don't get what they want.
But we do.
Yeah.
So here, game 3, OG got picked first pick. They won the coin toss, and LGD picked Dire.
I think whoever has first pick has a huge advantage this TI.
You say that so far in this series, first pick has lost both games. Why do you think first pick has the big edge here?
Especially for OG, because there's like I said, there's so many heroes that if you just pick it has a huge edge. Enchantress, Io, or not Io, but like Io for OG, I guess. Io, Chen. I think they forgot about the Chen at LGD, but like Magnus is pretty high up on OG's priority too.
Yeah.
So OG has a lot of these like first pick heroes that LGD don't want to give, but LGD don't have like these a lot of first pick heroes.
I think the LGD draft was actually really, really good against the whole OG draft. I thought LGD outdrafted them, besides one factor, which was the Chen Alchemist. I think that was the one trump card for OG. If the Alch got banned and even they picked up the Spectre second phase, I don't think this Chen Spectre is as strong as this Chen Alch.
Yeah.
I think the game would have went a lot different.
Because those first bans, you're normally thinking about what you're giving up, and it does feel like maybe like they forgot about the Alchemist, particularly the synergy with the Chen in that second ban phase when they're banning Spectre and Void.
Right now, I think they're deciding whether they should ban Magnus or Chen, and they just stick with the Magnus.
They're probably also thinking Alchemist, because OG banned AA in the first stage this game. So last game it was second stage, they banned the AA to protect an Alchemist, and guess what? OG's first pick Chen, Alch is still in the pool.
I think LGD has to take Alch here.
Or ET. They might pick ET.
Or both.
Yeah, what are the heroes you're picking to deal with an Alchemist in the first stage if you're expecting that second pick?
I don't think you can. The Alch Chen is so strong, I don't even know if I've seen it lose this whole tournament. Like the two, maybe they've lost one match together, but every match I've seen, it's a stomp. The 20% more healing works so with his ult. His creeps can per jungle. They kind of go back and forth. There's all these they make up for each other's weaknesses. You know, they're like one of the best duos in the game. I think you can pick.
Oh, they do get the ET you suggested, Febby. The most picked hero of the tournament so far.
Yeah, second most played by LGD actually with a 86% win rate. Mini Nahas here.
Statsman Febby.
Yeah.
I think they have to take the Alch here. I think unless they have a set idea of how to beat this Alchemist, it was too strong last game. I think even if you kind of contest him in the early game, he's going to get a Radiance, and they give up the Alchemist.
They have a different idea. It's the Tiny, who OG had last game as well. I mean, as far as heroes that look the best of the best, I feel like Tiny is in that category as well.
Yeah, it's just so versatile. It can play as support, but nowadays we see it more on core with the tree volley. Just coupled with some AoE stuns, this tree volley can do a lot of damage late game.
Yeah.
The scary thing about this Alchemist is most Alchs are going at least one bracer, if not two, which means that he's not going to die to this Tiny combo in the early game if it's a core Tiny. Maybe with the ET aura, the magic.
Yeah.
But even then, I think it's kind of pushing it.
We could see some of those combos around ET, like the ET gyrocopter where you run people down with the magic damage. Of course, OG now have two bans to protect themselves from some of the heroes they're worried about.
Probably they're going to ban the Void.
Yeah, that's the other hero.
And the Gyro. I think those are probably the top two priorities for OG.
Ember's pretty up there too, I think, for LGD.
Lifestealer is okay. As we said, like last game, it's good against the creeps. You can eat the creeps. It's decent against Alchemist, I think.
It does not abuse the ET aura though. I think like you gotta ban those heroes that abuse the ET aura. I can see them picking up Jakiro too, but it's not worth banning for OG. But
he's a Radiant Spire. And that's ET aura, magic, and physical. I think the one scary thing about not scary thing about the Lifestealer though is like he doesn't do enough damage until later in the game for this Alchemist, like, you know, post 30-35 minutes. And before then, this Alch Chen I think is going to run them over. Like we saw last game, this Alch had such a fast Radiance, and the game just feels over like 15 or 20 minutes, right? There's that one Roche fight, or the River fight, Shadow Demon's level 5, the Alch gets like 3 kills, Sven tries to hit creeps, but now this Alch's like double his net worth, and the game feels really over.
Yeah.
And Lifestealer's gonna be in the same position, right? Like sure, like him, like the Sven can scale against this Alch. You know, 3-4 items, maybe 5, they're gonna be evenly matched, but this Alch is gonna have 3 items on you, and at that point,
well, yeah, how do you beat it? And the Chen synergy with the Alch is not just the amplified healing. It's you've got this hero in the jungle that's stacking for the Alchemist, can stack with his hero, can stack with his creeps. Something OG are very efficient about getting Ana as much farm as possible when he's playing Alchemist.
One of the issues with like this multi-thing stacking is you can only micro so much, right? So it's like you can kind of try to get like 2-3 camps as well, but it's kind of hard. So I think what a lot of teams can do is they give away the Chen creeps to their other players. So he can give like 2 creeps to this Alch, and the Alch can also stack 2 other camps, you know?
Yep.
And they're just maximizing their efficiency.
It's the Gyro ban, so PSG.LGD do have Faceless Void open to them if they want to go for it. Name has played a decent number of games on the Void. He is comfortable on the hero.
Yeah, it's one of Ame's favorite heroes.
LGD banned the Darkseer. It was so good with the Alch last game. He's just getting Surge early game. He's already fast from ult. He's already a fast hero. He has phase boots, and he has a Surge. He's running, you know, like 600 movement speed, 700 movement speed.
It's
You
pretty
can't slow
funny.
him.
It's pretty funny because like 2 days ago, Darkseer was untouched, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't picked at all. And now, OG's just bringing it back.
He was one of, I think, the last 5 or 6 heroes unpicked or unbanned, unpicked at least in the entire tournament.
Yeah, and then he got picked by Secret, maybe?
Secret or Liquid? maybe?
Liquid. It was Liquid with mind control.
Yeah. I think it's coming back a little more because teams are, I think, valuing Ember a little more than they were the past couple days. Alchemist is also getting up there, and Tiny. And Darkseer with those 3 melee heroes in particular are really good for the 15 to 25 minute mark. Ember, for obvious reasons, his ult's faster. His Flame Guard just becomes a better Flame Guard with the Ion Shell. Out for what we said, and Tiny just because he gets you in position, and that's all Tiny needs. He needs to get in position for these toss avalanche combos and dealing a lot of damage.
Shadow Demon is picked up by PSG.LGD, giving them SD ET support duo. One of them will be FYs. Do you think that's more likely to be the Shadow Demon getting the
probably the
here?
Shadow Demon.
Also a block pick. If they wanted the Void, you want to take that SD away from OG, I feel, because that's the save that teams often want to be picking and playing against the Faceless Void.
It's also good against the Alk if you're really far behind, because if you make illusions of him and he has Radiance AC, you'll get both the ores on your own team.
Well, the trick we've been seeing is you can turn the Radiance off while you're disrupted.
You can't turn off AC.
Oh, true. Yeah, they can turn off the Radiance.
Backpack it, but there's also
Yeah. But as far as the Radiance goes, I feel like the SC, we're seeing all these Alks now just, you know, you can spam it and turn it off inside the disruption.
Tide turn made it to the second phase.
Ooh, it's a really good Morphling game for LGD, I think.
Yeah. I saw Morphling, it's okay, I think. I think there might be a little too much pressure in the mid game for Morph, but it lanes really well against the Tide, but I think they're just going to give Ame last pick.
They needed the magical damage, so they opt for the Sand King, even though they lost with it last game.
Get the Fast Veil, you've got magic damage coming out from Shadow Demon, it's synergy with the ET aura.
Yeah, there is a lot of damage for LGD.
Yeah,
I guess they were happy about how their first 5 minutes in the offlane went with the Alk pressure. But as we saw, that didn't really slow his Radiance timing down significantly. He got the 4th highest, right?
Yep.
So I guess, you know, they're feeling confident. They're like rerunning what they did last game. They're probably saying, you know, maybe our mid pick or our carry pick was a little off. Maybe we gave them too much. So maybe now they're kind of thinking, what we did with our other 3 heroes is fine.
Yeah,
but we
their
got to
mid
change
pick
up.
has changed. It's gone from a DK to a Tiny who is kind of faster paced. It's at least a hero that can get in the Alks jungle and steal stacks, I feel. DK doesn't really farm enemy jungle stacks or stacks at all.
Not until he's even level 12, right? Now at that point, it's too late.
So someone that can go in, threaten to kill Alchemist, take those stacks, and OG now going to be wondering about what they're going to get.
Probably going to pick a Thompson hero right now, unless he has multiple options. Usually on this this pick right here for first pick, you want to pick the hero that you think is more important to your draft. So in this case, they picked the Rubik. And that's because they're probably going through yo, Jerax, do you have options? And he goes, nah, it's really, Rubik's the best. Everything else is a tier below. And they go to Thompson and they say, and he gives oh, both of these heroes are good, right? Because now they have the choice between 2 heroes and only one will get banned and the other will be good no matter what. And only this one a Rubik. So OG is going to pick up the Rubik. It's really good against Sand King. That's one of the classic support counters to it.
And Thompson definitely a player who has quite a big hero pool as far as unconventional mids go. So
yeah, Dazzle ban. I think they're scared of the mid Dazzle.
Yeah, it's the second game of this 3-game series we've seen the Dazzle ban. So clearly something
that's interesting.
They believe OG can do. Maybe they've seen it in scrims.
Yeah, maybe I think it should be the scrims. OG played a mid Dazzle and it was pretty scary, stalling out the game for the Alchemist.
It's also got synergy with the Chen. You get more healing on your team. If you ever grave the Alk, he's going to heal back up to half health by the time it's over.
It's a lot of minus armor too. Acid, Gush, Dazzle. It's a lot of variants.
Void ban, they're still scared of that.
And that's the carry we expected to see in response to OG's draft with the Tiny Tree Volley as well as the Elder Titan Earth Splitter synergy. It would have been a great option for them as their last pick.
It's also one of the good people have figured out counters to Tide. That's why we see it a little less, I think, now. Because he can't, break off the Chrono, right? If he gets stunned by a Chrono, he's getting stunned full duration of Chrono. It's not going to end after 500 damage like every other spell.
So the most optical Thompson hero right now would be some brawler frontline that can fight with the Tide and the Rubik and the Chen, has damage and has deep push. He needs all those 3 options.
Tide have all those options?
I think so, right? Brawler, deep
Yes.
push with the Q,
Sure.
overwhelming odds, and like, what else did I say?
Fight with Tide.
Yeah, fight with.
Yeah.
Good minus armor.
It's kind of a cool pick too. It's another hero that benefits from the Chen amplified healing. It gives them a save, something that, you know, we saw PSG.LGD pick Shadow Demon to take away from OG potentially. So having a save in a second save with the Chen heals as well gives them a lot of ways to keep this Alk alive.
Also, this OG timing push at 20-25 minutes. He walks up high ground and he's just gonna get 100 attack speed.
Last pick, Slack. Ame Slack. He brought this one back into the meta if you go back to Epicenter, and this is a pick against a lot of melee cores. This is Theorycraft is one of the better cores run against Alchemist. You guys like the last pick, Slack?
I think if they put it mid, I think it's pretty good. It lanes well against the Legion Commander. It's one of the few heroes that can kind of trade with it. And I think if they do that, Ame's going to get off to a start. He's probably going to be able to carry the game.
I think in the late game, it's gonna outcarry the Alchemist. So, but the question, of course, every time is if they can get to the late game.
Well, we're going to have to find out if they can hold, because Alchemist with Chen hits that scary time. I mean, we've seen OG. They just ran over them in that game too. Do you think they're going to get to the late game?
There's a lot of hero from OG. The LCW, what is it called?
The press the attack.
Press the attack here, the Chen here, the Chen Aura, Alchemist ulti here. There's a lot of here.
All right. Well, we've got Casey on stage to hear some final thoughts from one of the coaches before we get into our Game 3 decider.
That's right. We're asking 357, and Josh is going to help us translate. A lot of us were surprised that you didn't choose to ban the Alchemist after it was such a huge part of OG's win. Can you give us a little bit of insight to that?
就是这一把看到你们还是把炼金放了出来，然后第二把其实炼金发挥了很大的作用，那就是请问你对这个是什么想法？
我们觉得第一把就是在炼金的处理上，策略有点失误，然后没搞好，让它太肥了。然后这把我们就是放它炼金，还是就是按我们的既定策略去打。
So in game 2, we kind of just our tactics didn't work out. We kind of made a mistake in that sense. We let Alchemist get too fat. This game we let him through anyway, but we're gonna try and improve on the tactics with regards to Alchemist.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Back to you guys.
And sure enough, we go the full series. Game 3 between OG and LGD with a twist. Everybody expected the Alchemist to be taken out of the pool, and I'm not sure if anybody expected a Thompson Tidehunter? It seems like OG's bringing something different that we haven't seen yet, Blitz.
Yeah, I think the idea behind it is essentially just give a hero that can frontline, run in for the rest of the team.
Yeah.
You're a space maker and a playmaker at the same time. I think it's just good overall. I think the idea too behind the LC is similar to what they had with the Darkseer. Just a hero to buff up the Alp. You know where your bread is buttered.
Yeah. And as they were talking about, the press the attack is going to be a form of heal as well that is going to be amped up by the Chen.
Yeah, I will say I think the Slark is a much better core than the Sven to deal with this. The idea that LGD had was, we need a hero to deal with the creeps. No, you need a hero to deal with the Alchemist.
And I feel like Tiny is like the biggest and best change to LGD's lineup to deal with this Alchemist. Seems like DK was too slow, especially when it came to taking that mid tower. The fight over the bounties begins in OG.
I want to know how many games Ame maybe has been completely blanked out. Involved in no kills at all.
Oh, look at that. X-Nova made that read perfectly. They were planning that Enem was going to take the other bounty rune. He was going to be teleported down to bottom. And now he's going to have to use his TP scroll, and PSG.LGD managed to get 3 of the 4.
Nice hard read as Chalice going to block up the creep wave. I think my favorite change to this is making FY play the Shadow Demon instead of a hero like Jakiro. I just don't love Jakiro as a 4 position. I feel like it's very limited what you can do with that hero. FY is your Ferrari. Let him roar.
Oh, this guy has no chill. And you've got a lot of play potential, and you want this Shadow Demon to be strong against an Alchemist, right? Like, part of the way of dealing with Alchemist is heavy burst damage, and Soul Catcher gives any sort of burst damage you have, it makes it look that much better. A tiny combo plus the Soul Catcher, I'm not sure what hero doesn't die to that.
Yeah, plus the Earth Splitter, of course, percentage-based things being very nice against the Alchemist. But who knows, maybe it's just going to be a little bit too strong for them, as last game was so one-sided. I personally think that the combo is way too good, and PSG.LGD, they're banking on the fact that they knew it was coming and they had an answer for it.
They did say in that interview with 357 that they were going to be pressuring the Alchemist a lot more. We see that already with FY just getting stack after stack. X-Nova doing what No-Tail was trying to do so well in game 1 with this Elder Titan, and just push back the other two opposing members of this dual lane and give Ame the space he needs.
Yeah, but he's already so low. He's got to be careful for the time being. Seb, once again, having pretty good lane. He's going to fight up against Ame. Doesn't seem to care too much. But now that X-Nova's here, he's got to be a little bit more cautious.
It is a pretty cool idea, right? Is that like Tidehunter and the Alchemist are very well countered by the Slark. It's just a terrible lane for Tidehunter. So being able to get the hard counter of Legion Commander against that Slark instead, and swapping Thompson over the mid lane.
Do you feel like it's a hard counter? I think when there's
Legion Commander against Slark, I think it's relatively okay.
I think when there's a save, it's really hard. Top lane, X-Nova getting quite low. The dupe from Seb. Right click from Jerax. We'll finish this off as Ame has to back out, reset himself, leaps away over the tree line. First blood going to OG.
It's good starts. That aggro dual lane. Our mid lane, 12-2 for Thompson. Is Somnus struggling a little bit with CS, but a wave is pushing into him. And he also has an Arcane Rune in his bottle. The lane pushing out into the favor of the Shadowed Demon and Sand King, which means there's going to be some neutral lane shenanigans. We'll see how FY tries to deal with this, but a top lane, the Stomp goes out, does manage to hit at least the Rubik. Jerax is going to be quite low. Can he finish him off? X-Nova gets him in the end. Seb will return fire and bring down X-Nova.
Support for support.
I almost feel bad.
Bottom lane, Sand King having a very nice time of things. NS Farm hasn't been slowed down either. Courier almost goes down. One more hit would have done it for FY.
Boy, Thompson's just fearless here. Maybe he's going to try and put some pressure on him. Does manage to get the toss on the
and a solo kill.
And a solo kill like that. You know, I thought Thompson knew better, but sure enough, he was way too low.
Yeah, that's the one thing about Thompson is it does feel like he dies the most out of any of the top mid laners.
Yeah.
He doesn't seem to care too much. In fact, I don't even know if this guy cares about deaths, farm. It just feels like he cares about getting into the enemy jungle, forcing you out, and being this frontliner for Ana. But that'll be a costly death, as maybe had such a slow start. He's already eclipsed his kill mark total from the previous game.
Seb laying down the spray when he gets pounced, while Ame in turn covers up that spray with one of his own from Vici game.
Meta. You see, maybe he gave the late tip to Thompson.
Ame trying to get out of here, does have the pounce range. They were trying to block him in with Seb, but he actually juked the wrong direction.
Prove it! Can you do this?
Somnus with this double damage.
Completely gonna zone out this Tidehunter. Thompson does not want to be here for the time being. A creep even just running through the area just to give one more last hit to Somnus.
Stomp goes out. Seb, big nuke that's going to force the pounce away, and X-Nova may not be able to win this man fight, especially with press the attack activated on Seb. With the level 4, it means he does have that passive to be able to bring down X-Nova. If he can get into the trees, maybe the stomp. No.
Ame's just going for the bounty runes against the Alchemist is so important. Jerax is going to try to race him against these, but doesn't have lift, so he will not get here in time. Neither of them have boots, but Ame is in a much better position to pick up this rune, and it looks like PSG.LGD will get away with 3 of them.
Yeah, that is makes the best of that situation. That's all 4. It's only 240 gold being collected for the OG side off of the bounties.
And they're gonna wait for this bottom lane. Nobody wants to pick it up quite yet.
Funny part is, because they have an Alchemist, OG net worth lead is even, despite that big bounty rune advantage that PSG.LGD has. Chalice is doing so well. 33-6, 31-6 for Somnus, who's now looking for the toss over onto the Tidehunter. Into the tier 1 tower. Thompson without Ravage is going to be caught by the stomp. Body blocked up a little bit by FY. He'll build up the stacks and see if he's going to be the one to claim the last hit. In fact, he will. FY. He wants these last hits. He wants the fast ether lens.
Much better start for all of PSG.LGD this time around. A less greedy lineup too. I don't know if trying to outgreed an Alchemist is ever the play because the hero doesn't work in the same sense. He's not like a Midas builder. He's just going to get his 10-minute, 12-minute items, win the game for you.
That's why we heard our draft panel talk about how important it was to shore up your mid game, because that's where the Alchemist is going to hit hardest. Once he has that Radiance plus AC.
From the 12 to like 25-minute mark, this guy is king. Nobody will touch this out. You have to be able to ride that out if you're PSG.LGD, and that's why they took the Slark. The Slark is meant to secure the late game. Yep. He's good against all 3 cores on the side of OG, and neither of the supports do anything against him. So the way this game looks is pretty clear-cut. OG have a timing window, once again, where they're going to go down the lanes with their Legion backing up their Alch, so you can't ever get stunned up. Constant purges, the heals, the Tidehunter's going to back him up too. He's going to get a Vlad's. And for PSG.LGD, it's bend, don't break. Take fights. If you lose 1 or 2, that's fine, but you can't afford to give up all your tier 2 towers like you did.
Look at No-Tail. He's been one by one sending out his neutral creeps to be able to pull back the wave to stop this push. But finally, he's going to be caught as the Spirit does reveal where he's at, and PSG.LGD will dive with confidence now, especially since they've already brought down at least one of his neutrals. The Hellbear is still pulling some of the creeps, though.
Okay.
And this really is the principle of getting kills into objectives, right? Is that No-Tail, he understands the same thing, and he's saying, you can kill me, but if you're not taking the tower, it's fine.
It's on the run. He's pinging towards it. He's laughing about this right now.
The turn converts of the melee creep is going to get the deny on the illusion rune while simultaneously pulling all of this into Ana. So it's not even going to return into the bottom lane. This is some next level shit from OG.
Oh my lord. I can't even believe that. He dragged the entire creep wave so that Ana gets a double wave in mid lane. He saves the bottom tower, maybe wastes his entire time, and he denies the illusion rune. Dude, that is the most value single creep that I've seen.
I mean, I think that was the most space creating, defeating death I've ever seen. No-Tail literally bought themselves like, they just killed like 3 minutes of pushing time.
Yeah, he, Pylai dies in the back. He's like scribbling notes. He's like furiously trying to figure out what he did right there. That gave Ana so much gold, brought him much closer to his Radiance. Didn't have an amazing laning phase, but that's going to help out a lot.
Yeah, it certainly is. But this is where PSG.LGD are going to have a change of tactics. Last time, they tried to go in for the mid push. They tried to take down that tower before and taking over the jungle, but this time, a smoke directly towards Ana. Chalice leading the way with the 1-level first strike.
Just found that for
They're going to be able to get the disruption first. And the epicenter follow up. They're going to throw all the burst damage onto them all at once. Chemical Rage is not going to be good enough here, sir.
By the way, I was wondering why this ward right here that PSG.LGD placed, I was like, why didn't they block the camp with that? Yeah. And you realize because OG's going to look for that ward. They know guaranteed that there is vision there, but by placing it up there and not blocking the ward, not blocking the camp, that's so intelligent.
Yeah.
It's going to give Ana a little bit more space, but it's going to open up kills a little bit more. They've got no idea about it.
Also, the combo, the way they set up that kill was just brilliant. It maximized the damage in a minimal amount of time, right? Leading with Disruption to get off Epicenter first rather than trying to go for Burrow Strike into Epicenter where there's this delay of damage. It really killed the effectiveness of Chemical Rage there. Now, PSG.LGD will manage to get another 3 bounties. That's 9 bounties they picked up in this game for 2,400 gold. Excuse me, that's more like 12 or something.
Yeah, that's how they've kept up in this game so far.
Oh, Jerix! No, X-Nova doesn't have a TP.
He'll be stuck here for the time being. He's got to wait for the creep.
Look at him, he's sitting on top of the Spirit and taunting him. before he's going to TP away, but FY actually catches him. Meanwhile, top lane, Seb's going to be caught, but it's over to mid, where Jerix, you play around in the spirit, you do a little taunting action, showing off to X-Nova, but in the end, you get caught for it.
And he loses the ward for it too. X-Nova's fine with that.
Yeah, I think he is now, for sure. How's Thompson doing in farm, by the way? He's going to be rushing double bracers into a Vlad. So those bracers are super value for Tidehunter, both because of tankiness as well as making your anchor smash more effective.
The courier's been killed too.
That is a big pickup.
Banano talked about the pre-12-minute Radiance.
Yeah.
This time around, they've slowed down so much of his farm.
It's not even a 12-minute relic at this pace.
Last game, he had it at like 10 minutes, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
Have they dewarded it yet? They still have vision of that area. Jerix is still looking. He doesn't see where it is. It was such a good ward.
It was.
It's the next level mind game. Give them the stack so that maybe it'll pay off and you'll get extra kills.
Smoke up, rotating to bottom. Seb, who's been holding on to this tower for OG, but now will pay for it with his life. The toss into the pounce from Ame with the Earth Splitter over the top. They really wanted to make sure that Legion Commander died fast, so there wasn't a chance of OG defensively rotating.
And they still haven't lost any towers on the side of PSG.LGD. No trade towards that top lane. It's still quite healthy. And this is going to create even more space for Ame. They can play into the jungle. Jerax is pinging. He thinks that they're going to smoke towards mid, which is why he preemptively places that sentry.
And a minus is almost here for Ame, plus his level 10. This will both help him farm a bit faster. Somnus trying to catch Ana here, does have the toss back into the creeps. The TP, it's a slow one from FY, so there's no chance of them actually killing this, but it does force a lot of rotation. Zeb is now in the same lane as Ana, not really the way they want to play things.
No, not until he has Radiance anyways, and he's still working on it right now. And that's why PSG.LGD are going for all these aggressive maneuvers. They know that they've slowed down the timing enough. Thompson isn't really getting involved in fights either. They just want to defend this mid area while he tries to catch up and farm. This is not the typical Thompson game that we see where we see him rotate into the enemy jungle. It's been a lot more farm-centric. It feels like both mid laners having swap position. Seb getting gone on at top.
They do have Jerix, though, TPing in. Telekinesis toss back onto X-Nova, and Seb, as he wakes up, he'll see this as an opportunity to get some duel damage.
It's the first duel win for him in this game. But yeah, it feels like whoever has Tiny is playing aggressively, and whoever doesn't just prioritizes the farm. Thompson, we felt his impact in the mid game so often throughout this series alone.
Looks like they don't want to give up this tower. Chalice, he's going to show himself. Chalice with the veil out, not actually trying to get any extra damage off the epicenter, surprisingly enough. Maybe with FY here, trying to catch somebody with the disruption, does get him. That's going to be the Chen caught. Chalice ready to go with another round of the Burrow Strike. Even if they don't kill Seb, will get a kill at the top lane. Still, though, I'm sure OG is quite happy with the space created as they took the mid tower.
Ame forcing Thompson out of the jungle right now, who just continues to plug away at his farm. Maybe he's going to go for... Actually, not sure.
Radiance is here. You know that OG, the last time they picked up this Radiance, they immediately barreled into PSG.LGD.
But the timing was much better last game.
Yeah.
That was almost a full 4 minutes ago that they got it. It just delays up everything. The AC timing that he got, the BKB, because he has to continue to just farm up, and PSG.LGD are in a much better spot. In fact, at this point in the game, I believe they were down 3-4K.
Oh no! He still managed to get the long-range Burrow Strike onto No-Tail, but that is a maxed out Prestige tag. Still not good enough to be able to save No-Tail. Now the duel onto Chalice with the Ravage out. Disruption though. Barely saves in time. They have the Earth Splitter over the top, and now Chalice looking to be able to get the kill on Seb. Maybe more as Thompson. Burst goes down. Toss forward. Chalice, he's going to die. Somnus actually accidentally Charlotte killing his offlaner, and maybe he may have just got himself killed as well as Anna chasing him down with the Radiance. Somnus is going to need another beautiful toss away, looking for it.
A little too long, potentially.
But it's going to be too long. The Avalanche is there. The gun slowing down Somnus, and the Radiance will burn him down. No chance for a blink.
And Anna finally decides to participate with his Radiance. He understands that he's the strongest hero in the game. He's got to make his presence known. March his way towards the top lane, and it looked like it was going to be so good from PSG.LGD. They got the disruption on the Sand King. They were fighting under the Sandstorm for so long, but it sort of evens out.
Top tower is under attack.
One of the advantages of this Chen is being able to pull people around the map, and we see that with Thompson, who gets TP'd back to the fountain, is ready to go with the TP somewhere else in the map. If he felt like he wanted to go top, he could have done so.
Yeah, and for the third game in a row, OG is going to take the mid tower first. They prioritized it so heavily in their games.
Oh, Arcane Room going to be left behind, and Anna sees it. Thank you very much. That'll mean some more acid sprays.
Top, gonna be taken.
They see all these heroes rotating over. PSG.LGD really want to take the fight, but Seb is gonna try and get the initiation onto Somnus. They have the unstable concoction, but the rest of PSG.LGD is on their way. There goes the duel, but Challenge gonna be able to get a two-man row strike. Ame pouncing in as well with the two-man dark pact on top of everything else, on top of the Sob, and now they have Seb dead, but Anna is still so tanky. He gave him with his dying breath to press the attack. The level 4 press the attack with so much regeneration means Anna will be able to bring down X-Nova. Now he looks for more, but Chalice, he's just trying to pull the creeps away. Buyback over to the side, the buyback. Chen is here as well, X-Nova trying to catch him, FY, looking for the disruption while Ame taking stacks after stacks, but he waited out the dark. Ame's gonna die. Oh, the Chalice save! Ame trying to get away, the toss over onto the Tiny, but it doesn't matter! Ame lives! Anna dies, and now Thompson's gonna be run down underneath the trees as he tries to juke it around, but eventually Somnus gonna be able to find him. They have the Burrow Strike there as well. Back over to Ame, who managed to finish off Jarek on top of everything else. 7-14, LGD win a massive fight in the top lane.
And OG, and I thought that Ame was dead for sure, but they find the save for him to follow up. This is going to be a value shrine. I'd like them to continue to play faster, smoke up, attack that triangle area. You're together here as 5 right now. Looks like they're going to back out, farm through. Ame still in a really comfortable position, about to pick up his Diffusal Blade. Medallion on Chalice.
Feels a little bit like game 1 now, where OG had that net worth lead, but once LGD were finally able to reclaim it, things started snowballing heavily. We'll see if LGD can do that again, or if they're going to play it a little bit more passive this time around, because they do have so many items about to flow in. Ame almost has a Diffusal Blade. They're going to work towards Aghanim Scepter on Somnus, though he needs a full kit still.
And if you're PSG.LGD, you probably want to take a fight. They've got to be a little bit cautious, though. And they did end up going to the triangle area. They just didn't smoke for it. OG, they've got the Ravage. They want to take this fight, too. Both teams feeling like they're stronger than the other.
Where Thompson shows up is all important because he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He needs to be able to get on top of PSG.LGD, and he gets on top of X-Nova right away. But there's the disruption. Thompson dodges the stomp. Seth still trying to close the distance. Wants to be able to catch X-Nova, but he completed his TP. Anna will stun himself. They'll surely know about the vision on the high ground now, but OG did not get the successful smoke gank that they were hoping for.
Yeah, both teams battling it out for position right now. And now it's going to be an immediate run into the Roche pit. Feels like deja vu of game number 1.
Yeah, it's because Somnus TP'd out to the bottom lane. He thought that was spaced as OG failed to find a kill, but now he has to run all the way across the map.
And it's got a BKB too. They should feel pretty strong here, but they don't do it quite fast enough.
Can PSG.LGD actually take a 5-on-5 against BKB and a pipe with Ravage?
If they're looking like it, I don't think you can give this Aegis up for free, because I feel like it's going to be then a repeat of game 2.
If they find an opening like this, it's going to be massive with the Soul Catcher toss. Again, who can survive against that combo? Certainly not good.
With the pipe, it looked like he was strong enough. You were wrong, friend, and now the crowd coming back alive. Seb said, where you at? And they're responding now. Top lane, gonna get caught on now.
He He's going to use that last bit of life to kill the Observer Ward, and he does manage to pick up the bounty rune. So Thompson grabbing the 3 on the right hand side of the map, and if they can actually kill this Alchemist, it would be huge. He still has BKB, but he doesn't pop it fast enough. He's going to throw a shark instead. Ana thought he had more time, but that is a limited resource against PSG.LGD's aggression.
Pickoff after pickoff, they're finding course around the map. You still haven't really felt the impact of this Tidehunter either. 0-3-3. Thompson was so dominant in game number 2.
7-17. Still LGD holding that slight net worth lead against an Alchemist.
You're not feeling good right now if you're OG. Your Alch Chen combo should be the strongest at this point. You picked up a pipe on Seb, you've got a Vlad's, a medallion on Thompson. This is almost the exact same situation as last game. They've itemized in a very similar way too, but it just doesn't really feel like they've got the same oomph.
There's so many things that Seb maxed out press the attack first, for example. Him going for the pipe, as you said, is like, they're all showing that they're trying to synergize around making this Alchemist the strongest he can be. And now Seb may just get caught again. Thompson's going to be here, ready to go with the Ravage. 2-man Burrow Strike, the Earth Splitter as well. Beautifully placed. That's going to be a lot of damage to start things off. The Stomp, though, will allow them to retreat.
They're just going to back up as they rightfully should. They don't quite have the mana for this, and it looks like they're just going to walk into Roshan again. I heard Ana, he did pop his ulti. And yep, if you toggle it off, it works.
He managed to do it in time, so LGD won't have that easy way.
You just have to spam press it, I believe.
Yeah.
And it takes it off, because he definitely had Radiance turned on when he was under, when he pops out. Neither the illusions did.
Gush, as well as the medallion.
Oh, this is a nice room for him to pick up the illusion. This is gonna scout out for him, stop any blinks. The initiation up from the Sand King as well.
Disruption onto the illusion Alchemist. Not able to turn that radiance off. They have vision of that Observer Ward as well, but everyone is a little bit too scared to be that far forward. Jarek showing himself at top, Ana showing himself at bottom. LGD have a little bit more confidence that they control this mid area. The BKB soon for Ame. If OG doesn't take that Roshan soon, I fear they may miss their timing blitz.
I'm not really sure. I'm trying to figure out where they go from here, because once he gets the AC, that's one of the strongest power spikes in the game for this Alchemist.
Yep.
You can get items after that, but the 3-item timing of this Alch is used to be, it's so powerful. That's what they rode last game, and this game it feels like they're still going for the same play. It's just not really there for them. It's harder for them to push into PSG.LGD's lineup. They haven't taken enough tier 1 and tier 2 towers. Thompson, I think, has had the roughest game. We're not really feeling the impact of this Tidehunter. It feels like he's having a similar performance that maybe did. And it doesn't feel good going all these items that are meant to empower your Alchemists, and you're not winning team fights behind that hero. So they're going to go for it again.
Spirit revealing and slowing things down. Until the Mud Golem stunning up X-Nova.
But Ame's really far away. They noticed that he wasn't there, and this might actually be...
It's a free rush. Unless... No. Something's not going to go for it, is he? He's thinking about it. He's hovering around this area. He's going to go for the blink. Gushed up. Won't be able to anymore. The Earth Splitter going down. Challenge! Who tries to get in, but the Age is picked up by Ana. And now Challenge immediately punishes. He's hit by the Ravage. They do have the disruption on top of the duel. X-Nova will eventually die here. Ame with his BKB. He activates it, but everybody of OG is so tanky. PSG.LGD was this a mistake to try and challenge this Roshan FY? Trying to get away, but there's so many blinks coming in. Another round of unstable concoction catches FY. LGD lose the Roshan, and they lose 3.
I'm so surprised that they took the fight in that way. They held for so long, and then they just gave up the area. Ame decided he was going to go bottom, and then TP's back to base.
And OG is
just going for it.
That if you give them this opening, they're going to push it in a hurry. They do have the Aghanim Scepter for Somnus. This is going to be rather important in being able to defend. He throws out the volley with the Burrow Strike. That's going to be a lot of damage to start things off. The Avalanche followed up. Seb, as well as Ana, knocked down to half health. But
that was the buyback from the Sand King.
They're going to be able to finish off the Sand King. No buyback from him. There's going to be one coming out from X-Nova. But these heroes are rapidly regenerating up, thanks in part to No Tail and his healing aura. And Ame He's trying to build up some S and chip charges, more volleys into the back line as he goes, but this is looking like Anna is unstoppable. Jarek's buying them the time with the Sandstorm, making sure everybody gets out except for him, and yeah, that is going to be Jarek's con. Thompson thinking about turning around. He doesn't have Ravage.
They've come back in.
Anna coming back in. X-Nova going to be saved by so much damage, but in the end, he's going to be left alone. Somnus does manage to finish off Jarek, so support for support trade-up at LGD, still down 2.
But there's no more racks for them to take. They know there's bounty runes. They're going to reset off of that. That'll be a 2-for-1, and the racks taken Ame's decision, and whoever's call it was on PSG.LGD, that might prove to be fatal. The decision to split up, give up that Roshan area to deal with the rest of the waves.
Yep.
You had to have known that OG was desperate to take that Rosh.
And then in the end, once that mistake does happen, trying to cover up that mistake by fighting for the Aegis.
Yes, once Ame, I think he realized he's like, oh man, I actually messed up. So you try to overplay. He BKBs, uses that and his ulti. Once that pops off, OG knows this Slark cannot 5-on-5 against us.
Double. Well, we'll see how well LGD is going to be able to hold, because OG, you know what they want to do.
They're going to get a heart on this Alk, and the regen with the Divine Favor is going to be out of control.
Dire's top tower is under
Percentage base heal on percentage base heal.
Yeah.
The sheer amount of health he'll have.
And again, they still don't have a Spirit Vessel either. That still would have been handled by the Legion Commander with the Press the Attack, which is another great synergy with this Alchemist. So even if he does get chain stun, they always have a way to be able to break it.
Somehow they find themselves in the exact same position they did in the previous game.
It's a little bit tougher to go high ground a second time, though.
Oh, look at this. Seb went back for drums so they could all in for it.
Nice.
He knows. He smells blood right now.
He's going to be pulled in soon.
You only go for this item. You go back for this item because you think to yourself, this game's going to be over real quick.
Yes. Somnus. They have the Sandstorm DPS, they have the volley, they have these little things they can throw out, but they have to be able to address the back line of OG, and look at where Thompson is. He's trying to break smokes right now. They're going to sneak over with the Slark, but he's been spotted by. They are going to make the entrance. Two-man Pro Strike. Immediately Raps going down. The unstable concoction cocked up, ready to go. On to Chalice, well, the duel. On to Somnus. He's trying to get the cleaves in, but it just dies. The Earth Splitter goes out, but it's not enough. Ame's building up the damage. Seb has been purged up. Maybe they can finish him off. Chalice actually managed to get away, but at the same time, Ame could not commit for Seb. So in the end, it's just Somnus who died with no buyback.
And that was everything that PSG.LGD had. They committed hard for that fight. They still have the epicenter, but a lot of this damage just being negated by the heart. Anna's just going to go back in.
He needs 60 gold. 60 gold for the buyback on Somnus, or 30 seconds. Which will it be, LGD? Are they going to have to give up 2 lanes of barracks?
And look at Jarek's.
Jarek's throwing down some volleys of his own. Chalice prepping the epicenter blink. He's going to be able to get the 2 in the back line. Can they actually finish him off this time? They're just so damn tanky. There's no follow-up damage. They don't have the tiny. The pipe is too strong, and Chalice sitting amongst them inside the Sandstorm, trying to push them back, but he's going to have to Burrow Strike away from Anna, as Anna pops another Chemical Rage, turns to the melee barracks. And this is going to be 2 as Ame starts racking up those stacks into the back line. This time he'll commit the BKB to finish off the Chen. Couldn't stop it. And Seb actually completes the teleport in, managed to get the duel. Can they kill Ame though? The BKB is still going off, and he gets more and more stats. Shadow dance away. Anna looking for any target that's weak, but he has to TP away. He realizes he's low. Disruption's up. He got him. And boy, got him. He stalls up Anna, and now Anna. Oh no, the Burrow Strike challenge. This is not the moment to choke, my friend. But fortunately, Somnus is always there to protect you.
And Thompson in the backline has been chased. Ame with so many stacks, 141 agility. They wanted to get away from that slug. It took them a little bit too long. They do lose the melee barracks, but that's a 5-man team wipe. PSG.LGD needed that desperately.
And as a result, it was quite the net worth climb for OG in these fights, but it is going to take heavily back down. Is OG now only holding a 5,000 net worth, and Ame is going to start claiming some items, starting with the Shadow Blade, working towards a Silver Edge. We almost have the Solar Crest for the Sand King. Somnus now has a crit with the Crystallis. That volley just gets more and more dangerous. But OG, they only really need one, maybe two more fights.
Look at OG. They're hiding so far behind Jerax. He's being patient right now. They understand that PSG.LGD with the numbers advantage is on the hunt. That's why Ame's going to go all the way around.
He's got the Jerax. He's still got the extra 100 agility he's stolen from earlier. And with the dark pack going off, Jerax, that is not a steal that will get you away from Ame.
That's 123 agility that he still has, and the 11 perma. That's quite a bit of it.
And all the bounty runes. That is, look at that, 2,000 net worth. That's it.
And the gold lead is swung now the other way. These two Titans just swinging for the fences right now. And OG has to be careful. Every other team has proved that Mega Creeps does not end the game. If you are consistently getting wiped for just racks, that does not feel good.
At the same time, though, they know that PSG.LGD does not have buyback on their Shadow Demon, Chalice, as well as X-Nova. Do you try and force it anyway in this fight, or are you just waiting for Roshan?
I think you're waiting for Roshan. That's probably your next objective, for both teams, in fact.
Okay.
For OG, it's how you get potentially the last set of racks without having to hard commit. For PSG.LGD, getting it onto Ame so that he doesn't have to use his BKB so soon would be pretty nice. And remember that OG is still on the timer. A lot of these items that they've opted to go for, they're not meant to scale.
I mean, you said it perfectly with Seb, right?
You went
the
back
only reason
for drums.
you go back for drums is all inning right now.
Yeah, you think, I'm going to win this fight, they're going to break, we're going to wipe them, we're going to go for the throne, I'm going to pop my drums active repeatedly. They've got like 14 auras.
Oh boy, Thompson. He's got his level 20, and he's about to finish up a Desolator. So when Roshan does spawn, they can do it super quickly. But at the same time, PSG.LGD...
Ame uses buyout gold here.
Ame,
gotta be careful. They've got a gem.
The volley, slowing down some of those supports, but they pulled in Ana, and I'm not sure PSG.LGD are ready to take a fight right now. Epicenter, oh, Chalice. Fortunately, he held on to it in a way. He stopped it, so OG don't know he used that big team fight ultimate.
Doesn't feel too good. Ame, whenever you use your buyback gold out like that, it feels so bad. Yes, you have your silver edge, but you don't feel comfortable fighting at this point.
Yeah. A tense game 3 for OG and LGD. This determines who's going to be heading to the grand finals. Will it be a repeat? Will OG beat LGD in the upper bracket finals and go all the way through to the grand finals for the second year in a row? Or will it be LGD changing history, changing the fate, the path that laid before them into Shanghai?
You can forget about the last TI if you win this one.
Yes.
This is the biggest one by far. It'll sting a lot less.
In so many ways, whether it's the prize pool or the pride of finding under your home nation.
The only thing that matters is being the latest champion.
15 to 25, 33 minutes in. We're going to have a split push. OG, they've got 2 towers to take bottom lane. Ame plays the other side of the map. PSG.LGD, they're not looking for a fight until Roshan. And Roshan, it's up right now. Surprising that OG would be willing to play the other side of the map, but maybe they feel like LGD just can't do Roshan quickly by themselves.
I think LGD is just waiting for their opportunity to just hold out another high ground assault like that.
Yeah.
That's where their Sand King's going to be the strongest too, is when OG is going to push into him. Plus, PSG.LGD, I think they make the right read on the game. They should feel like if it continues to go on, they will win. I have to imagine this is the Slark.
They're going to try and break him. They're going to toss him into Ame. Ame looking for the break, but no, Thompson gets off the Ravage first on the 4. No real follow-up from OG, though, so honestly, that's good enough for LGD, forcing out that ultimate.
Yeah, with the Ravage down, that would have been the gem. That's why Thompson was so willing to pop that. Even though it might cost you another fight, not losing the gem is the key here.
So OG say, that's fine, we have time. We'll just spend 2 minutes before we take Roshan. LGD are not going to be able to force the issue themselves.
And this is going to be an Ags picked up by Ana. Wonder who he gives it to. Jerax would be a pretty good call.
Thompson now has the Desolator, and he's somewhat close to 25. This is something that Ame may have to start worrying about a little bit.
The lack of armor on Tiny?
No, just the gigantic amount of AoE damage that comes from this anchor smash.
I was being sarcastic.
Somnus gonna be caught, pounced, dead. Woo. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Daedalus soon for Somnus too.
Everybody has so much armor on the side of PSG.LGD.
They really do.
Oh.
This Tiny 34 armor. Ame is 25 for himself.
I don't actually think they care about this Deso very much. But I feel like OG's lineup, they're kind of running out of options for what they can get.
Buyback from Seb with this stomp. What's happening here? He's actually going to TP over to Ame, but at the same time, they're still trying to finish off Thompson. That is not going to be good enough unless the
Gem on the ground too.
Right. Gem on the ground. Chalice not able to grab it, but look at the damage raining in from the volley. Ame's now here. The BKB activated, and they quickly realize that with the BKB chemical rage, Anna is too tanky to go for. X-Nova thought he was going to be able to get it. Couldn't get the gem. Gem drop. Thompson reclaims it.
They don't want to give up this Roshan area. Ame's going to hop in. Somnus is going to bottle up that invis. Not that good because of the gem that they still happen to have, but PSG.LGD in a really good position right now. The buybacks were used by OG, but of course, as we saw throughout this game, all that really matters is who gets this Roshan.
That's why everyone's just playing around that mid lane.
They gave the Axe to the Tide, by the way. One of my favorite Ags in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so awkward, and it's like a better version of Venge's Wave of Terror.
I mean, you've got the Gush Armor talent for it, too, so that's minus 12 in a line, plus the Acid Spray. Plus, you know, Solar Crests that are being thrown around on both sides. Disable Concoction pop, the momentary stun onto Ame. Doesn't want to blow his BKB, so he pounces down into the river.
Building up those stacks. He's got 12 perma Agi. That's so much. They're looking for the backline right now. Thompson does have it.
He's been confident. He's put a 3-man Rogue Strike. The Ravage goes off, though, controlling up Ame to get down by Thompson. The big swing of the anchor smash. Finish him off. Now FY trying to get the force tap. Disruption out. Stomp going in. That's going to be Jarek's already dead. No Tail's quite low as well. But the cores of OG going strong. The buyback coming in from Ame, though. Can he come in? Can he deal with Thompson? First strike out for challenge to X-Nova. He's going to be left. Fed to Ana and Thompson.
No Tail about to burn out, but
no Tail almost died there. The press of the attack helps him though.
And all the buybacks filtering through. And I lied, Thompson does so much damage.
Dude, Thompson does so much damage, and he doesn't even have the 25 talent yet.
I can't believe Ame died to that. And Roshan's getting really low. We talked about how important this was.
The volley stops, they're going to throw it in, but it's going to be too late to be able to claim Roshan at least. So LGD gonna have to do another one of their famed high ground defenses.
OG just figures it out. They find a way, they dig deep. They figure out a way to win. Look at the net worth and the XP slowly start to climb back in their favor. I figured for sure PSG.LGD's lineup would be stronger at this point, but OG are just out fighting them. Their use of the buybacks feel a little bit better.
And it all starts with Jarek's, right? He gets the telekinesis, the follow-up Ravage, then they Solar Crest the Slark, hit him with the big anchor smash.
Yeah, this is just one team outplaying another at this point. This should be where PSG.LGD is stronger. OG is just looking like an
opening here, trying to jump onto Anna, force something out, first strike out for the duel. He immediately used onto Tiny. Somnus, is there a save? There's no, there's no Shadow Demon here.
Chalice is going to go down too.
Chalice is dead. They both buy back. Ame, he's now here, breaking Anna. No BKB for him, but he does have cheese. Oh, at the epicenter, the Bro Strike, they're going to try and finish off. No Tail, he died, immediately bites back. Anna fighting up against Ame. Ame with the Shadow Dance, though. Cheese immediately popped. They're going to try and back themselves away, playing the high ground again. OG, will they assault the base again? Or will they just play it slow?
I think they should just go for it again. They've got Ravage in 20 seconds. They've got Aegis. I think Thompson's just going back for mana, and they're going to go for it again. There's no buyback on a lot of these heroes on the side of PSG.LGD. All it's going to take is one more swing, one successful teamfight, and OG will have won and secured themselves a top 2 finish at this TI.
250 damage up for Thompson, and he's got Ravage. He can play the front line now. He can be the one hitting the tower if they want.
Anna doesn't have buyback himself, but they're just going to allow Thompson to swing away at this tower. Ame looking for an opening, gonna go in, break.
Soul Catcher, he's actually so low already, but he lets loose the Ravage. Are they going to be able to follow up? They have the disruption. Talon's going to be able to intercept, making sure the Steph doesn't manage to get the duel. Saw this, force staffed away as well, but they're going in for the Megas right now. They still have a Rax up in top lane, so this is not Megas by itself. Saw this, trying to finish off Thompson. That is maybe going to be the Aegis one little bit. They spot him out for a moment, and swing it away. He almost dies, but the Shadow Dance plus the BKB, he's going to be able to get away. Unstable concoction, disruption, he's going to stun himself. He does. Thompson, though, making his way up to top lane, has to force half away. FY in danger of that anchor smash. The finishing blow. OG all in. One last chance to make their way to the grand finals here. Get those Megas, but don't lose your lives forward as they do not have buyback. They don't have the Ravage anymore. Can they get this range barracks? Can they get the Megas? And can they get out afterwards? PSG.LGD.
They're going to have to do this 4-on-5, no buybacks.
Disruption, leading things off, trying to get those illusions, stomp into the backline, doesn't hit anything, and immediately Chemical Rage, that's going to be Megas. PSG.LGD will try and hold against Mega Creeps.
OG, they might not be done yet.
LGD is saying, if we can just draw this out a little bit longer, maybe we can win, but OG may not give the chance. Mega Creeps isn't good enough for this team. They're going to go for the tier 4s, and will this be the blow that ends the game? Will this be the way that they get to the grand finals, or will this be their fatal mistake? One tier 4 down, a break, on to Jerix, immediately disruption going out. Ame, he's been disrupted, his illusions, got to stay away from those. He's going to go for Thompson here. BKB activated, Soul Catcher on him, press the attack though, helping him out, Earth Splitter. Oh, but they caught the duel. They caught Ame, and he's dead for 2 minutes. The volley's coming in, but it's not good enough. Now, the physical damage will overwhelm the throne, and PSG.LGD in a 3 versus 5 can no longer hold. OG in the upper bracket finals bring down LGD. OG are going to the grand finals for the 2nd year in a row.
They will have the opportunity to defend their throne. If you come at the Kings, you best not miss.
OG have done it again. Absolutely unprecedented.
The most stacked TI field that we've ever seen. Probably the best top 4 that we've ever seen. And they're still gonna do it.
Unbelievable, especially with what a great way to start this series too. LGD taking the win in somewhat of a tight game. The crowd backing him, but OG come back twice.
They don't
with
care.
The Alchemist, and they don't care about the crowd.
They won. Oh my lord, I can't believe they get the opportunity to defend. That is incredible. You can see the relief and the happiness. So many doubters.
How have they done it?
It was a fluke. They just sort of like lapsed their way in.
2 flukes in a row. OG is something else. And the crowd, they will give their due.
Or maybe this is just honestly the best team in Dota. Who knows?
They're certainly the best team in this tournament right now. What an unbelievable race from OG. Winning 2-1.
A fluke. A fluke. You cannot call it a fluke anymore as we see OG make their way to another grand final. And we're going to take a look into the coach's room of OG when they actually see it happen. Such a huge achievement. And the question is, will they actually get an achievement that no one has gotten before? Will they not only win 2 TIs, will they win back-to-back TIs? I mean, we're really staring at that potential right now. If you were going to pick a team to take them down, would it be LGD? Is that rematch happening in the grand final? Do you think that that's the best chance they have of being dethroned?
It feels, I mean, LGD, right? They took a game in this series, and then they got Chen out twice in a row, and it feels like, you know, they thought they had this counter, and I could definitely see them coming back through the loser's bracket and being the grand finals opponent, like 100%.
You lose to Alk, you play next game, you don't ban Alk, profit, right?
Okay. So why does that happen?
Sometimes the captains and the coaches are just stubborn. They think they can counter it. In the end,
And
it didn't happen.
It's the evil you know, I guess. Yeah. I think it's kind of the thing that you're going for there, because that was one of the first things that caught my ear. And obviously, I have like probably the second lowest MMR out of all the casters.
Yeah, sorry,
and I'm hearing this interview, and you see the out go there, you see the out go through, and you're just like, wait, why? And the coach says, okay, we're gonna let the out go through. We have a plan for it. We're gonna try to shut it down. Alk seems to be one of these names that we're going to be saying consistently. Like Alk and are the two that jump off the page to me as just being the nuts.
It feels like every time that we bring up this point of, well, better to fight the enemy you know, it's because we're talking about someone who just lost to that, right? People have tried to fight the IO. They've tried to fight the Alk. Has it looked good?
No.
No, not really.
Nothing
those
ever
guys,
looks good.
How do you fight them? They banned out that AA. I can see that maybe working. Even that's not a surefire victory versus someone like the Alchemist.
So let's do some quick math, right?
Okay. I love
quick
math.
And
All
correct.
my
So
fingers.
stacking minus armor, AoE Gush with the Aghanim Scepter talent, 7 plus
you want
5
the 7
talent, that's 12.
Oh,
Solar
wait,
Crest.
you hold up 10. I got the 2.
We need more fingers.
We're
Plus
at 12?
that's 24. And plus 7 from Acid Spray.
Hey,
that's
you know what?
31. 31.
With all of that, I only need one finger. You know why?
All right.
Because we're throwing it over to Casey.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty shaken. I'm feeling pretty good. Pretty emotional.
Can you walk me through what that feels like? You made it to the grand final.
That's fucking wild. It's crazy. It's still sinking in very much.
I think we talked to you back in January and we asked if you had dared to start looking ahead to TI9 and the possibility of being in a grand final. And you all said it's way too soon. We're not thinking that far ahead. And we're here.
Before this tournament, things were a bit dark. My dog had died, and it was really rough for a couple of weeks.
Sorry.
My self-esteem was pretty low, and now we're here. Sebastian, honestly, I dedicate this tournament to him. Oh, fuck, this is so crazy.
You're making me cry. Stop it.
No, but really, thank you, Sebastian, and of course, everyone else. Just feeling so fucking lucky, feeling so fucking good. Yeah. That's fucking adrenaline, I'm shaking.
Like the full range of every emotion that you can imagine. And I know you have a lot of respect for the fans here who obviously have been really excited to watch LGD play. Such a great team, such a great matchup. How did this lineup and matchup feel to you compared to a year ago? We're literally watching history repeat itself.
The LGD guys, they always give us these fantastic Dota games, and we feel so honored that we have this opportunity once again to play on a main stage in front of so many people, and the crowd has been absolutely wonderful. We know they cheer more for LGD than us, but there's a lot of guys in the crowd who are showing, love for the game and love for both teams, and it was a blessing. I'm vibrating, and I think a lot of it is that energy from the crowd. And yeah, these games, it's crazy. It's just wild. Freaking love it.
You mentioned Seb, but what about the rest of your teammates? I know that you formed quite a tight brotherhood in the last year, even with Anna leaving and coming back.
This group of guys, I woke up the other day and I thought to myself, what would it be like to play Dota with another team? And that was very depressive thought, because I wouldn't change a single thing. I wouldn't change anything. These guys, they got my back, and I can feel it. I love them.
I have so many Dota questions, and I'm just not going to ask them, because I love being able to see this moment with you, because so many people have been following your journey as a player and the team's journey, and this is what Dota is all about.
It really is. Oh my God, these games are so wild. Whew. What a good feeling.
Are you going to watch tonight?
Of course.
Secret Liquid?
I'm not missing a single game, not missing a second.
Who would you like to see in the grand final?
Last year, I really, really wanted to play Liquid, and I still feel like they owe us that game. We owe each other that game, really. I really hope to meet them, although Secret has been a challenge for us all year, so we'll welcome it as well. God bless anybody that comes our way. Good luck to them. Not kidding. We're staying humble here. So much respect to all the teams. LGD, fantastic games. Liquid, I die to play them. Secret, they've been the best team this season. No matter what, we're just happy to play. Feeling so lucky.
And while I have you here, before we send it back, is there anything you want to say to all the fans who've been watching?
It's just thank you all for supporting us. We've been memeing it up this year. It's all for good laughs. I hope you guys are just enjoying the show. And yeah, to the crowd, the stadium, this is crazy. The atmosphere is so wild.
It's great.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks for showing us some amazing Dota.
Thanks for watching.
Showing us how it's done. All right, back to you guys.
Yeah, and thank you not only for the amazing Dota, but also for letting us talk to you right after hopping off the stage. I mean, you can see a lot going on there. It's one of those moments, though, where you see an interview like that, and you just get completely sold. It's like, okay, I'm not even thinking of 2-time, 3-time champs. Complete life glitches. Yeah. You know, like you look at them and you just really believe, especially when you hear not only everything that, you have to overcome in individual life, a bad season inside of Dota, and then you get up on the main stage and you're just able to put it all together. It's incredible.
I mean, someone like No Tail, back, when he played Han, we didn't really like each other much, but, when the Dota 2, we both grew up, he didn't have to like me ever, honestly, and he was always so nice. He's like one of the nicest guys you will ever meet. It's crazy. You walk by him, just hey, what's up, man? To everyone. It's awesome to see someone like him just make it there.
Tweeted it out. We don't deserve No Tail. He's just too good for this community. He really is.
Yeah. A dangerous thing to be, but hilarious as well. Yeah. Every time he comes up on the main stage, and on top of that, I think his attitude is just such a good one. I mean, it's almost not a surprise when you see him able to just hurdle after hurdle, overcome them with this team, and having that moment where it does all click. He says, I can't imagine playing Dota with any other team. It's a depressing thought to think about playing Dota with any other team.
It's not friends anymore. They're like a family.
Yeah,
they spend so much time traveling. It basically becomes your second family.
Yeah, but